love little conversations. And I don't want you to go changing. Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. I hope that you just feel it all too. Cause girl, you're comfortable, let's go. Feels so good just when I roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me get you on a cold night. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Cause girl, you're just so. Girl, I love a situation. We don't spend time hesitating. And I wouldn't say we're crazy in love. I would just say we're crazy enough. Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. I hope that you just feel it all too. Cause girl, you're comfortable, let's go. Feels so good just when I roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me get you on a cold night.
Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Wade Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, Overwatch fans. Welcome to the Overwatch Tranquility Season 7 Preseason, where we'll be giving you coverage of the Harmony Tier semifinals matchup between the Koala Kings and the Palm Beach Poggers. My name is HBBowsy64, and I'll be your play-by-play caster today, and I'm joined here by the magnificent Door on color casting. And Door, we're in for a heck of a showdown.
I mean, magnificent's quite a word, but boy, am I ready for it. Getting a little bit of Harmony Tier action. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be back home here at Tranquility, and no less for a preseason tournament that promises to be really, really excellent. We've got a fantastic match for you guys today. Like you mentioned, the former champions, the Koala Kings, up against the Palm Beach Poggers. Both these teams are coming in guns blazing, armed to the teeth. Palm Beach Palmers with Dez is looking to lock things up. Koala Kings keeping two of those championship members. I mean, it's a stacked roster against stacked roster. Don't fool yourself. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. It's an amazing match, and we're happy that we were able to cast it here, and especially for a good cause. If you are not aware, this entire preseason, the Tranquility community is raising money for RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, which is the largest anti-sexual violence organization in the United States. Any donations to RAIN will be used to help survivors, educate the public, and improve public policy. If you can donate any sort of money, please do, and you can help us take action in the fight against sexual violence. Anyone who wants to donate can do so by typing !donate in the Twitch chat. And really, it's a good cause. I'm glad Tranquility is doing this, and we're about to get started here, coming up with our first map, Oasis, the control map.
Yeah, and starting off on control, I mean, it's kind of an Overwatch classic at this point, but it is a pretty interesting kind of change up now that we're in a meta that's very flexible for these teams, especially in Harmony tier, where we can see all sorts of stuff run ever since the hit scan nerf. There's a new patch today that came out, seeing Genji and Doomfist buffs alongside a number of things. But what I'm really looking at right now is Pharah, right? Historically, it's been extremely powerful in Harmony tier. You combine that with the hit scan nerfs, the fact that Ashe can't one-shot, Kree's range is severely reduced, at which he can actually take a Pharah on. And Widowmaker, not always the greatest Pharah counter, really able to be jumped on by a lot of these Pharahs. I'm really looking at that. Whichever one of these teams can pull one out is going to be in a really good position. And it's something that we saw even in the Transcendence tier, I believe yesterday or the night before, when we saw A2 break out a Pharah pretty much every map that was borderline uncounterable.
Yeah, especially, and Koala Kings were a team that really popularized Pharah when it came to that Season 6 run. Their former player, Titanic, was a Pharah ace, and they were able to try and claim the trophy with him in their hands. Fortunately, Titanic no longer on the roster, but that does not mean in any caliber that Koala Kings will not bust out the Pharah here today. So it's going to be interesting to see what these two teams come out with, especially, as you mentioned, a patch just released earlier today. So we have those new soldier changes that came in, the Genji changes, the Doomfist changes, all of these changes really helping out the sort of general feel of the game. But as we get started here on Oasis City Center, we do see Pharahs so far on both sides as the teams are in the spawn rooms.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can just welcome our new flying overlords now. It's pretty much accepted by everybody. If you're not running it, you're crazy. There is a big difference, though, in what tanks we get to see locked in for these teams. Jeffbot locking in a Wrecking Ball versus Traffic's Reinhardt. These compositions are going to be played very differently, whereas Palm Beach want to close the distance and really utilize that Reinhardt to hold their place on a point. Jeffbot, Kemi, and Navina are going to look to poke away. Commercial can play along the flanks with this Soldier 76 to really try and pick away at the composition. The name of the game here for Palm Beach Poggers is to get on top of Koala Kings, and Koala Kings is to just completely surround them.
Absolutely, that is exactly what you want to try to do here for Koala Kings. Palm Beach Poggers already establishing a point presence right now with that Brawl composition. However, Koala Kings is able to take a lot of a high ground. Very low there from Dez as the Commercial tries to beam him down, but unfortunately it's not enough. But Jetbot is the first casualty to Ricky, and now you see Navito trying to push all the rockets into the backline of the Palm Beach Poggers, but none of it is able to get any sort of picks right now. Palm Beach Poggers with a dominance on this point right now, having more members on the point and being able to take the capture percentage. Dez taking on the 1v1 with Navino here with the Pharmacy as Commercial takes away the mech of Ricky, and Dez falls in the hands of Commercial. Now it looks like you're going to be seeing Koala Kings trying to act on this, but Navino falling to Turbo means there might not be anything going on.
Yeah, nobody's got a Pharah anymore with the res onto Navino. This is pretty locked and sealed up for Koala Kings. You can tell just how non-confrontational they've been, though, this entire time. They're not taking proper fights. Their tanks are going in one at a time to deal with this Reinhardt. It just makes space on the point. The Reinhardt only has 1600 HP on that shield to really work with, and over time it slowly gets chipped away, but they've held their space long enough to take this point on over.
Yeah, absolutely. The point now flipped over onto the side of the Palm Beach Poggers. Koala Kings trying to gain some sort of traction here with Dez falling on the side of Palm Beach Poggers, but everyone on Koala Kings is in the spawn room apart from Jeffbot. So that's going to be a full reset here from the Koala Kings, and Palm Beach Poggers looking very comfortable on this point.
Yeah, I like the call from Koala Kings, honestly, right? It's having that wherewithal to pull yourself back, recognize you have an ultimate advantage to get in here. About 10% away, though. Ricky and Dez are getting close. This fight's going to be really messy. A lot of ult shining through. The question is, I'm looking at the tanks, I'm looking at the DPS. Who can find the clarity in their ultimate? These DPS have a humongous opportunity to make a lot of space with these bombs. I have a feeling that whichever one can make a little bit more is going to put their team in a much better position.
And you do see the big pickoff right there. Turbo is able to get Navino out of the sky, and Dez goes straight for Saya. And now there is no one support player on the side of Koala King. Dez finishes the kill on Navino, and here comes the barrage, eaten up by Kemi, and Dez ends up sleeping and taking an eternal rest. But that doesn't mean that Palm Beach Poggers are not going to win this fight. It is going to be a one fight for Palm Beach Poggers, but a lot of ults invested.
Yeah, we're clearing that halfway point on the point. And now as the picks come through further and further, you can see just how important it is to have the space on this far, right? Dez has utter aerial dominance over Navino right now. It's not necessarily Navino's fault. It's just so much more difficult to attack with this far because the second you start moving forward, you're getting shot by Navino, you're getting shot by Commercial, you're getting dove by Kemi, peeking over the top of the building. Navino's trying to get something done here, but there's just not a clear gap in the defense to make our way forward. And now with the Amplification Matrix taking another 10% off that point, we're put into final fight territory.
Pretty much. You do see the bomb coming out here from Kemi. We'll see if it gets anything. It's almost only able to get the immortality field, but Commercial starting to make work. He gets 2 kills. Not until Navino ends up dying in the aftermath, and now Palm Beach Poggers look like they're going to be able to stabilize. The res is put onto Exuberance, and now it looks like Palm Beach Poggers might be able to hold this point. The Deadeye comes out from Turbo and is eaten by Kemi. But as of right now, Koala Kings are still on the back foot, looking in as Kemi falls to the hands of Turbo yet again. Turbo has decided to flip the switch and is starting to move at fast speed as Koala Kings still continue to try to pressure, and that's a big pick from Ricky onto Navino. Now, Koala Kings trying to push forward, but Palm Beach Poggers are continuing to shut him down.
I mean, the resilience of these teams right now, both of them refusing to back off the point. Palm Beach Poggers, one of the best disengages I've seen in Harmony tier, refuse to step off, pull back just enough to get themselves a reset in the fight, re-engage in, find themselves a huge pick off the back of Ricky and finish that one off. Fantastically played point A by both teams. Honestly, Koala Kings, like I said, had the wherewithal to pull themselves back in the fight prior, but it just didn't have the same payoff as Palm Beach finding that beautiful disengage in the final fight.
Yeah, really, the brawl style of Palm Beach Poggers was able to just really out-contest the sort of poke style that Koala Kings was trying to do. Any sort of attempt that Koala Kings had at poking was just not working well, and now, as we head over here to Oasis Gardens, we do see wholesale changes coming out on the side of Koala Kings right now. They're opting for more of a dive setup with this Winston and Tracer instead of the brawl style that Palm Beach Poggers looks like they're going to be coming back out on.
I'm not surprised, right? They were running the Soldier on the last map with so much access to high ground. Now it's a little flatter. Commercial's going to be utilizing the Tracer to get around the back line. The functionality is relatively similar as it was with Tabal, but they just want to find a different way to engage and utilize a nano boost onto either Jeffbot or Navino to kind of keep their options a little bit more open, because honestly, I don't think they did particularly bad with the poke composition, with the dive composition that they were running in the last round. It just happened that first tick went over to Palm Beach, and who knows, one small difference here could be the whole game.
Oh, and that's one small thing, especially Ricky ends up getting the kill onto Commercial, barely gets missed booped off by Navino, and Navino finally wins the Tracer duel against Dez, but not at the hands of Jeffbot, and Navino tries the barrage, but Ricky decides to fly straight up and sacrifices his mech, so Navino sent back to spawn, and with that, Koala Kings now in the disadvantage as Palm Beach Poggers get the point starting to count up.
Look, let's be entirely real with ourselves. That's the barrage just to brag that you got it that early. That was like a 20-second barrage we got on Navino. I'm absolutely pressing Q. I don't care if you're winning or losing that fight. You just have to let them know that you got it at all. Now, Palm Beach Poggers, with the fact that they know there is no longer a barrage online effect, it swapped over to a Reaper. It kind of changes things a lot. Reaper diving with this team is going to be particularly tricky, but if they can find the coordination and get on top of a couple of these players, they've got a lot of damage to work with.
Yeah, Koala Kings running that Reaper now means that they want to try to take this closer than before. You just see Banana Boost online here from Red Knight as he's able to get it off of the Jetbot, but not at the hands of his own life. And now it seems like Koala Kings, they might be able to win it, but Turbo, what a 2K Deadeye, is able to get Zaya and Navino. And now Koala Kings out of control in this matchup, and it looks like it's going to be Palm Beach Poggers once again holding the defense.
I mean, it's a 3-piece Deadeye into gobbling up the Pulse Bomb. I mean, this is like a perfect little happy meal of a fight, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Palm Beach Poggers are feasting on Koala Kings, and it didn't even cost him any ultimates. It's Valk Deadeye throwing a window here and there. Dez will find one more pick. You still got more ultimates than the opposing side. And with a couple of swaps coming over, Navino is playing musical heroes at this point from Reaper over the Soldier now. I'm curious to see what they want to get done, because again, Soldier really struggles against Far in this matchup. You can't really out-damage the heals that the Mercy's going to be putting out. And at these ranges, that DPS fall-off nerf really starts to change things up. They'll make the engagement anyways, though.
Yeah, it looks like Dez trying to put in the pressure here onto the tanks, and that's a shatter coming up from Traffic, and the barrage to follow up. Dez gets 2, Traffic gets the 3rd, and now Palm Beach Poggers in last fight territory, just cleaning up the remains of the Koala Kings, and will win the first map.
And it's again just proving how hard it is to push into these Faras right now. When they have that positioning advantage, when you can't really close the distance on them, they're going to continue to poke and poke away at you, and slowly that builds an ultimate advantage in Palm Beach. I mean, that final fight might as well have been free. They had every advantage they could have wanted going into that. There's nothing to block the shatter once the Winston bubble's gone. And with overtime down, it's a clean 2-0 for the Palm Beach team.
Absolutely. Palm Beach Poggers coming out swinging, taking a map off of the reigning champions. There's going to be a lot of huge, this is definitely a huge upset if they're able to pull this off and head on to the Harmony Tier preseason finals. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Koala Kings can come back for this, or if this is Palm Beach's game to win.
I'm curious, because we have to keep in mind that Control is very different from the rest of the map types right now. With the variability that we get in composition, when we're seeing Dive, when we're seeing Brawl, when we're seeing Rush, when we're seeing Bunker compositions, there's a lot of changes that we can start making, and that Pharah, all of a sudden, on the defensive side can be fairly useful, but on the attacking side can be countered by things like Ashe, by Tor, by having more shields, and really finding creative ways around it, especially for these Harmony Tier teams where you're not necessarily relying on mechanics. You want the team composition to kind of be just like a well-oiled machine that works for you, that you don't really have to work for to get value out of a lot of the time. So map pick here is something I'm looking at for them to take advantage of and say, hey, we may not necessarily have an answer to the Pharah currently, but what we do have is a map that's not going to allow you to play Pharah as easily.
Absolutely, with the next three maps being Hanamura, Temple of Anubis, and Volskaya Industries, excuse me.
I'd hope not.
Volskaya Injuries, I mean, that's my comps experience in a nutshell. But regardless, the assault map being one of those three, Pharah can be played on either one of those maps, but I think if you are Koala Kings, your best two maps are Hanamura and Temple of Anubis. Speak of a devil, Hanamura is the map choice.
I'm digging it. I mean, you're looking at a map that's going to offer chokes. It's going to make it hard for the Pharah to play. On the defensive side, there aren't really that many options as well. You want to force into maybe symmetric compositions, teleport on the points, find ways around the Pharah that aren't necessarily shooting her, because again, it's a bit of a struggle right now, not just because it's Harmony Tier, but also just because, you know, hit scan nerfs have made it impossible to kill this flying lady with a rocket launcher. I don't see how it's fair, but either way, they've got to figure out how to deal with it. I think it's actually going to be Koala Kings starting on the defensive side here. Oh, that's right. It's production night, so they've got to stay on the same sides the whole time. So Koala Kings stay on the defensive side for their own good. I'm curious to see what they run to try and stop the reign of terror that we're seeing Dez and Turbo put on them.
Absolutely, Koala Kings have to try and rebound in some sort of way after that performance we saw there on Oasis. There were signs of brilliance on the City Center, but once it came to Gardens, it was a full sweep. So it's definitely interesting to see if Koala Kings are trying to adapt themselves to the situation, or they're just going to have trouble and slip up at the end.
I mean, I'll be honest, game plan wise, it seems like both these teams are in a pretty good spot right now. Koala Kings had excellent disengages. They understood the ult economy for the most part. They were backing away and finding resets at the appropriate times. Palm Beach Poggers doing the exact same thing. But when you look at the micro of the fights, when you look at the small decisions, when you look at which Pharah is getting a little bit more value, when you look at which of the Reinhardts is getting a little bit more space, when you look at which of the teams is finding their focus fire a little bit more quickly, the answer to all those questions is Palm Beach Poggers. So I think it's really difficult for a team like Koala Kings, for any team realistically, to answer all of those questions at once. But if they can find one trump card here, whether that's running double hit scan and denying the Pharah, whether that's running the Reinhardt composition and forcing to Hanamura, which has clearly brought Palm Beach Poggers off of a Pharah, right? They're playing Symmetra May at this point. We'll find out. But they've got their answer. There's no more Pharah on the table. What can they do to stop this teleport from coming in and being a real problem? I'm looking at those DPS to either kill a teleporter or them to play further back on the point to deal with this a little bit more effectively.
Absolutely. You do see now Palm Beach Poggers coming out on that Symmetra May. They look like they're going to be teleporting straight to the point, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Turbo sets the TP straight up to the point, and the wall is there in the main to make sure the Koala Kings cannot enter through the front door. They have to try and seek an alternate route, and now you see Koala Kings try to battle the way in, but Jeffbot dies at the steps. That's not good for Koala Kings, and now they can't touch the point, and Palm Beach Poggers take it. 6 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to try and take point B. I've never seen a time that fast in a long time.
It gets more painful. These spawn timers, they don't get reset. They reset when the point is taken. If anybody dies here, it's going to be a hot second until they're back. It's going to be at least a tick off this point until we can see Koala Kings properly re-engage.
Commercial dying late means that that's going to be very bad here for Koala Kings. Davino is able to get a pick off onto Potty, however, so it looks like there is a chance here for Koala Kings to try and rebound, but Palm Beach Poggers, the picks are there, the damage is done. Turbo is wreaking havoc here on this Symmetra, and with that, the third tick is imminent. 5
Wow.
minutes and 54 seconds in the time bank for Palm Beach Poggers. That has to be a record in Tranquility.
Yeah, somebody check the boys, because that's absolutely ridiculous. I feel bad for Koala Kings again. A lot of that because of spawn timers got reset, or rather didn't get reset, moving from A to B, and Palm Beach Poggers recognize their opportunity. They push in, they continue to. I said Koala Kings had to give up a tick, had to regroup as 6, and they chose not to. They tried to play for the stagger picks. They tried to play for the stall, going in with 3-4 members at the start of that fight. All it meant was that the Reinhardt went down even quicker, and Palm Beach Poggers could steamroll that second point even faster. You coming in, you're looking at that time bank. What are you even thinking as Koala Kings here, right? It's like, do we try and match that? I feel like the only thing you can do is try and toss out of your head and just say, hey, let's play our game of Overwatch. We're going to run the same composition right back at him, some Metro May. Let's see what Palm Beach Poggers have to say about this. They're running a Pharah, so there is kind of a little bit of a better answer in regards to that there, because you're going to have spam opportunities to push back on that point. As long as you can keep your Reinhardt and Diva alive, the Pharah should be able to pick the teleporter push apart. But, well, you have to see. Maybe Palm Beach Poggers could surprise us.
Absolutely, Palm Beach Poggers seem to come out on this defense with the Pharah. Meanwhile, on the side of Koala Kings, you do see this Sim May set up once again, the exact same composition that we saw Palm Beach Poggers running. So we'll have to see if they're able to bring it out as well as Palm Beach Poggers did, or this is probably going to be a very rough start here for Koala Kings in this matchup.
It could be a very quick map, too. Let's be completely honest with ourselves here, but Koala Kings have an opportunity, and it's already been completely foiled. They have to choose an alternate route to go up here, but now with the Pharah on their backs, they don't really have a hit scan answer to it the second it starts plugging away at them with those rockets. Start pushing
you do
in.
see Koala Kings trying to push in. The wall is there from Commercial to try and bring themselves in. Navino, fully charged, is able to whip out Traffic and send it back to spawn, but Dez makes the main tank trade, and now Jeffbot is down and Traffic is res. You do see Potty, however, the main mercy. The Pharah's pocket is out of the fight, but Dez on the Pharah is going unnoticed. And just like that, the Koala Kings now going back to spawn and having to reevaluate what to do.
I mean, it's exactly like I mentioned. Traffic and Ricky, they hardly swung. They hardly did anything. I mean, you can look at the Reinhardt. He's up at 78, 79% because they pressured out that fight eventually. Most of that was from cleanup. But if you look at it during the fight, hardly any ultimate charge was coming onto the tank. It's because they were just holding shield, holding the defense matrix, and staying alive while Dez just pounded this team with rockets.
Yep, absolutely. And now we do see Koala Kings once again trying this TP strat, seeing if they can try to get in here in a better position than they did before. You do see now they do have the Ant Matrix online with Red Knight, so we'll have to see if it will make any sort of difference as they go up to the top pedestal. And now they're heading on to the left side, but the Ant Matrix coming out from Exuberance is able to stop them in their tracks, but not before it's answered by Red Knight, and Exuberance dies to Navino. What a big pick!
That's what you're looking for. We mentioned how important it is, but from the flank, in comes the Pharah. Dez, how much can he get? Nothing. Great job by Kemi. Fantastic defense matrix, fantastic wherewithal to recognize, hey, there's a Pharah sneaking up behind us, keeping his ears on a swivel, winning that point over for Koala Kings.
Even better, look at all the ults that were expended. Only 2 on the side of Koala Kings. On the side of Palm Beach Poggers, they wasted 4 ults. The Shatter, the Barrage, the High Noon, and the Ant Matrix. And now they're switching over to the Lucio. Now they pretty much have a clean slate apart from 1 bomb. And you do see Koala Kings now trying to push themselves in. Where do they TP?
I mean, the time bank's not quite as nice, but that's not what's in your head right now. Koala Kings just need to finish this point.
To the left side, to the top left they go, driving straight onto the Ashe and the Diva, but it looks like the team ended up getting separated as they head back onto the point. The beat comes out from Thea as the Blizzard comes out from Commercial. Dez is the first death, and Navino is trying to make work of the rest of them. You do see Exuberance on this high ground, however, on the Baptiste, being able to keep up the Diva of Ricky, but all for naught. Exuberance does get the pick on the Jeffbot, however, but the rest of Palm Beach Poggers are sitting well in spawn, trying to respawn. And Koala Kings look like they're finally asserting some sort of dominance.
Oh no. I'm spotting a little bit of spaghetti droppage right now. They're focusing different targets. I need to see these Koala Kings members start focusing down one member. There it is. Finally, all centering on the Reinhardt, looking for Turbo next to zone players off of this point. They want the supports more than anything, but smartly, Palm Beach Poggers are willing to give up ticks on this point in order to wait for the recontest. There it is. They've got enough members. They want to push back in. Now they'll use the Primal Rage to do it.
Yep, and the Deadeye comes out from Turbo, and Commercial ends up sniping him straight back into spawn. Traffic is there on the Wrecking Ball, trying to get any sort of stall here for Palm Beach Poggers, but Koala Kings sitting really nicely on this point right now. Traffic ends up dying to Commercial, and Dez get sent back to spawn as well. And with all the spawns coming in, the stall from Palm Beach Poggers, it won't be enough. And Koala Kings will cap with 3 minutes in the time bank, but it'll be minimized to 2 for the 2 CP rolls.
I mean, my hat's off to Koala Kings, right? You just recovered from one of the quickest pushes I've seen in my entire life, which, to be fair, I guess maybe it's easier to kind of mentally bounce back because it was only like 30 seconds of time that happened for that map. It's easier to forget that much, you know? It's just like in one ear, out the other. If you've got the memory of a goldfish, that push was already like out of your head by the time you were approaching point B on your attack. So maybe their mental is fine after all. They're going to have a little bit less time going into overtime, but they've also had a little bit more time to reassess their strategy and how they want to deal with this Mesa Metro. Last time they got really messed up by those spawn timers. I doubt that happens to them again. Koala Kings now setting up on the attacking side, though. It's all up to them to try and set a pace that Palm Beach can't match.
Absolutely. Palm Beach actually coming out no longer with the Pharah. They've decided that the Pharah has run its course here on Hanamura. Dez has switched over to the Mei, but pretty much the exact same comp that we've been seeing from them almost all map. The Bap, the Lucio, the Ryan, the Diva, and the McCree. So I have to see if this gets any sort of value. Koala Kings, once again, they want this TP strat. They want to get onto that point. They want to try to take it as quickly as possible, and they want to be unexpected.
I really like this. You can actually do a lot of really interesting things as Dez on the defensive side. If you wall up the teleporter after a couple people go through, you can effectively cut the team in half without cutting the team in half physically necessarily. There's a lot of tricky stuff this May can pull off, but most importantly, when you're not running a Pharah here, a lot of it's because there's only 2 minutes on that timing. There's not time to build up the Blizzard like there was last time.
Yep, and the TP comes out onto the top right of the map, but that's a big wall from Dez, splitting off half the team. They're able to get by, though, and Thea knocked off Patty. The Lucio v. Lucio matchup, and Koala Kings with that kill are steamrolling Palm Beach now, and it looks like they'll be able to cap point A, only with one little straggler being Ricky on that Diva.
I mean, they found the focus. It's exactly what I was talking about on point B there. They lost it for a moment, but it seems like they're all in sync now. All the targets are the same. Everyone's shooting the same thing. Jeff Bot melted like a popsicle on a hot Florida summer day. Red Knight went down just as quickly. It doesn't matter how much healing you have. If you've got a whole rush team running at you, now a teleporter up the left side, they're looking to get a little creative with it.
Yeah, but they gotta be careful. Potty on that Lucio is right there, ready for the boop. It looks like they're going to be going against that now, and looks like they're just gonna be going to the main, trying to teleport onto one of the top ledges here. As they go to the top right now, the entire team up on that top right high ground. Yep, and the Ant Matrix comes out here from Red Knight as the team starts to push forward. Jeffbot alone on the point, however, the Immortality Field is there, but Jeffbot unable to survive. Palm Beach Poggers being able to hold back the attacks from Koala Kings. And now, Koala Kings, they're going to be in last fight territory here.
And they got to be careful not to stagger for too long. The fact that they get another fight here is ridiculous. They only had 2 minutes on their time bank coming into this. Getting a tick, getting two, anything here is basically extra dessert on the plate for Koala Kings. And they've got a lot of ultimates to do it, but so do Palm Beach Poggers. Honestly, the most clutch play I could see coming out of this is either of these divas finding an eat on the Blizzard. Let's keep an eye on Ricky and Kemi heading into this fight.
Absolutely, eating that Blizzard would be huge and really assert a win here, or assert a hold or a cap here for the opposing team. We'll have to see if it's going to do anything right now, as we do see the Blizzard coming out from Dez. No eats on either side. The Blizzards have been put out in full as Jeffbot is getting down. Turbo gets a 2K. The bomb comes out from Kemi. It's unable to get anything, and now Koala Kings looking on the rough side. Palm Beach Poggers might just be able to hold this point.
And it's looking good for him as well. Fantastic use of that high ground, recognizing there just isn't time for Koala Kings to get up there and take it themselves. They knew they had an Ant Matrix to work with, and they used it beautifully. Like you mentioned, no eats on the Blizzard, effectively turning it into a winter wonderland, if not just for a second. Shatter to finish things off. Unsurprisingly, no second point take, but I mean, could you really expect one from Koala Kings with a 2-minute time bank? I'll take a first point tick. I think they did fantastic. Now, like I mentioned, it's time to go back, reassess, look at this defense, because that's where a lot of the problems were in that first push. Can Koala Kings adapt? Can they stop this Mesa Metro in its tracks?
Yeah, that's going to be the question here for Koala Kings, as they are now going to be on the defense. 4 minutes and 22 seconds on Palm Beach Poggers side to try and claim the first point and 1 tick of the second. It's got to be a blazing fast run if it's going to be anything, or it's going to be a full hold here for Koala Kings. We'll have to see, as Koala Kings coming out with the exact same comp they were running on the attack. This is interesting.
Oh, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried. I see Symmetra May on the defensive side, and all that screams to me. There's so much time on the clock for Palm Beach Poggers, and that's something important to remember. A lot of the time we go into overtime with these ideas of, oh, we're going to run a Bastion because the time's low and they don't really have ultimates or time to go back and swap and deal with it. But no, Palm Beach have 4.5 minutes. They have all the time in the world to recognize this composition is begging to have a Pharah played into it. The second Palm Beach get there, if they have the wherewithal in them, if they've got the brains to back up the brawn that we've seen, they'll go right back into spawn, they'll throw Dez back onto a Pharah, and they will clean this point. The question is, do they recognize the opportunity?
Now I do see the point of having Navino on this Symmetra. The teleporter Navino just put there on the left side, that is actually back to the point. So now they have a way to be able to get back to the point if this teleport attempt comes in here from Palm Beach Poggers. And it's a huge play as Jeffbot is able to get exuberant. The main healing source of the Palm Beach Poggers has been sent to spawn. And just like that, Palm Beach Poggers now are on the receiving end of potentially a hold here from the Koala Kings. Only one kill goes in the side of Palm Beach Poggers. That is onto Jeffbot, but for the rest of the team, it's going to be back to spawn for the Palm Beach Poggers. Koala Kings get their first hold of the map.
Yeah, they'll get back in on the defensive side as well. They lost the Reinhardt, but he should be able to make his way back on point without too many problems. And playing this mirror matchup is already so difficult for the attacking side because Jeffbot can effectively position himself directly on top of your teleporter or wherever you want to be, gets a free swing onto 6 people and gets so much ultimate charge out of it. I'm looking at the Reinhardt, so I'm looking at the flex supports. See who gets those ultimates up first to play this fight.
Yeah, and you do see Turbo now TPing onto the left side, and there's the wall there onto Traffic, and Traffic gets stuck in traffic, and it ends up falling to the hands of Navino's turret. Jeffbot seems to also have problems, and he is out of the picture as well. And now you see Palm Beach Poggers now at the even stage here. It's anyone's game right now as the barrier comes out from Turbo, but he ends up getting followed by the hands of Commercial. You do see now that that Koala Kings are starting to push up the advance, be able to finish off the targets. And just like that, Koala Kings once again hold off. 2 minutes and 45 seconds here on the clock for the Palm Beach Poggers, and their ult bank is looking a little dry.
Let's keep in mind for ourselves, the Koala Kings had to use their Blizzard to do that. Dez is coming in with the Blizzard. The only answer on the other side is either a bomb to zone or a huge beat from Thea, but it's really difficult to time the beat on a Blizzard. It's not a perfect counter. You have to time it for right when they dive onto whoever they choose their target. It's all up to the Lucio the Diva to find a way to stop this fight from going south.
We do see now Koala Kings immediately teleporting to the point. Oh, it's a bait! Palm Beach Poggers ended up putting a bait. They put a TP up to the top and immediately run straight to the point. Now it looks like it's an opportunity for Palm Beach Poggers to try and take this, but Jeffbot gets the kill onto Dez. The Blizzard comes out and Jeffbot falls. But now Palm Beach Poggers, once again on the receiving side, 1 DPS down as the bomb comes out from Ricky. It gets nothing as the wall from Commercial. He gets back. Ricky gets the mech kill onto Commercial, and now Palm Beach Poggers with that kill. It looks like they're going to be able to try and push this. Thea is the last remaining person on Koala Kings, and they're just trying to stall it out. As Palm Beach Poggers will be taking point A, and we'll have about 2 minutes to try and cap point B.
It's so hard to hold that Blizzard. You have to commend Koala Kings. Jeffbot did the right thing, even made a push through to buy a little bit more time for the team. Trades out for a May. Everything was so close, but just one more thing to get him across the finish line. It's not there. They got to defend for a tick with 1:50 left now. No ultimates on the board. It's a fully blank slate for either side, and the defenders have the high ground here. Fantastic position for Red Knight. Let's see what they can get done with this.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to see Palm Beach Poggers teleport to the left side. It's ended up getting interrupted by a wall, but it's able to continue to try and push forward. Palm Beach Poggers trying to take any advantage of this fight, and they find Commercial. The Commercial has been seized, and now Jeffbot ends up getting the kill on the Dez, but it's all for naught. He sacrifices his life at the hands of Traffic. Traffic starts making his way onto the point. You see Kemi trying to defend this point for all of his life, but it won't be enough. And you see Palm Beach Poggers now in the driver's seat. 1 minute on the clock. Can Koala King stall this out, or is the one tick inevitable?
Oh, he counters the shatter! It stops. Traffic got the shatter canceled. Commercial just has to hold for a second, but he doesn't. Goes down off the point. There's nobody home. And Koala Kings, despite their best efforts, they almost had it. Palm Beach, though, dragged themselves across the finish line in arguably the closest map that we've seen today.
Palm Beach Poggers bring themselves to match point here on Hanamura. Koala Kings, however, showing signs of life after such a rough oasis, after such a rough first round. There's definitely potential here for a reverse sweep, and honestly, it would be an amazing show if we got one.
You can see him slowly adapting, slowly getting in. Koala Kings aren't quite there yet. You've got to give your hat off to Palm Beach Poggers right now. They found a way around everything, even in the mirror matchup, which is really difficult. They made the difference. They put enough pressure on, and a single mistake from Commercial, which wasn't, I don't even think you could qualify as a mistake, right? Having to use that Blizzard was just, your team was under too much pressure. They had to let the footing slip just a little bit. In the second there was an opening in that defense, Palm Beach Poggers were all over it. They used their Blizzard perfectly. They pushed off the back of it excellently, ran that point B like it was nothing, recognized that Baptiste, who was playing in the top right, was the critical weak point of the composition. They had to push that out of position before they could take the point. They do so, find a pick onto Commercial, and roll it into a beautiful point take. There was nothing wrong with Palm Beach Poggers. I'm struggling to find an opening here for Koala Kings, but they've nearly got it. We're going to find out in just a little bit. We've got a halftime coming up, ladies and gentlemen, before a map number 3 to decide whether or not we play a little bit longer or whether or not it's a sweep.
Slow it down. Jeans on when we hit the town. We don't really care who's around. But baby, I'm with you if you gon' be down. 'Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. You just feel it out, girl, you're just so comfortable. 'Cause girl, you comfortable. It just feels so good just when you roll through. I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you the baddest thing, you know that. It's true. I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me catch you on the cold air. I don't know what you do. Let me get you on a Kodak.
Welcome back to the Overwatch Tranquility Harmony semifinals for the preseason. If you have missed all this, if you missed all the progress that we've done so far, it's currently 2-0 for the Palm Beach Poggers over the Koala Kings. Match point for the underdogs trying to take down the Season 6 champions as we head on to map 3 here soon, our hybrid map, Blizzard World.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of Palm Beach Poggers fans in chat. And like, you're loud, you're rowdy, you know, your team's winning. Your team's winning. But I know there's some Koala Kings people in there. And I also know that you guys like the old beep beep reverse sweep. So give them your energy too. And if you can, give a little bit of money to our donation, like exclamation point donate in the chat. Is going to be supporting RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. They do some wonderful stuff. They're an excellent cause. If you've got the time, if you've got the pocket change, check it out. Tranquility's always doing these events. They're always for a good cause. And yeah, if you've got time, if you've got money, do that. But let's get back into the game. We're looking at Palm Beach Poggers up 2-0, like you mentioned, but a Koala Kings who's edging ever closer to getting across the finish line, to finding a win, or at least a draw for Pete's sake.
Absolutely, and one thing that we're going to be seeing that's different on Koala Kings, their DPS lineup, Commercial, who apparently was actually a ringer, is out, and Sergeant Pepper is in for this map. Sergeant Pepper is one of their flex players, but he's going to be playing DPS on this next map. Again, Blizzard World is the map choice, so we'll see how they are able to hold themselves against this and be able to try and complete a beep beep reverse sweep.
You know, I like to think Sergeant Pepper is just like an alternate universe, different career path Dr. Pepper. You know, like, we've got enough sodas around here. Maybe we just go and do something, you know, a little bit more wholesome, or I guess heroic. I don't know. It's right for the job. He's playing DPS after all. Let's take a look at how we swap things up. Blizzard World doesn't really welcome itself to too much Pharah on point A, at least. So obviously Koala Kings wanting to dodge that. They had to deal with Dez earlier. They're trying to not deal with Kez right about now. What I want to see is the tank competitions, though. We've seen Reinhardt out of them. We've seen them play dive. We've seen them play ball. And it's going to be going back to the ball for JeffBot. And I think they just want to play what they played on point A. Get a little bit chaotic with it. Surround the Palm Beach Poggers the same way that they did. But they're in for a little bit of a treat because Traffic swapped over to a Winston, something that I don't think we've seen them play as of yet. Just going to mix things up a little bit. Actually, we did see a Winston from them. Yeah, we saw it on Gardens. So, I mean, we haven't seen the dive into it. Things are really different, though. With Sergeant Pepper as well being in playing on the Pharah, this is a totally different matchup to what we saw prior when the teams were running these compositions. But the goal, absolutely the same.
Yep, we are going to be seeing Palm Beach Poggers come out of the spawn room this time, running this sort of dive style that we've been seeing a lot of the Overwatch League teams run. The Tracer, Winston, Diva, and a Pharah in the sky, and that's a big pick. Straight on to Navino. The hit scan is dead for the side of Koala King, which means Dez gonna have an easier time, and the res is even denied. A great concussive blast there from Dez, as now Palm Beach Poggers look like they're gonna try and push in, and that's another pick from Dez onto Red Knight. Palm Beach Poggers making an absolute mockery of this first point here, and it looks like they're gonna be capping it very easily.
Yeah, you're starting to recognize just how hard it is to counter fire, right? They had Navino pocketed for that exact reason. That was a damage boosted soldier shooting at the Pharah, but it's just not able to do much. It's at fall off range. I mean, it's like a pea shooter throwing rocks from a distance, little pebbles at Dez is trying to do anything, but it's just not going to work. Point B, a little bit more open skies though. They should be able to play a little bit easier into this Pharah, but you're looking for first picks with these teams, right? The dives aren't exactly something that are going to coalesce extremely quickly. They're going to go in and out, in and out. Tracer alongside the ball will be going in, but at the same time, Traffic and Dez will be poking away at your back line. Who finds that pick first, though, is kind of the big question.
Well, there's the first pick right there. Turbo is able to get the pick onto JeffBot, so now Koala Kings looks like they're going to be staggered even a little bit more. Turbo looking for more. He's looking for that Pharmacy in the backline here for Koala Kings. The res comes out, thankfully, from Red Knight onto JeffBot, but you do see Palm Beach Poggers now taking control of this high ground, and it looks like Dez still uncontested apart from Navino on that soldier. Looks like they're going to continue trying to push in. There's the monkey jump, and Traffic ends up dying to the hands of Navino. Dez gets swiftly out of there as quickly as he possibly can, but it looks like Koala Kings finally asserting some sort of hold, but unfortunately the card is still moving here for Palm Beach.
To be fair, the card's hardly moved, and again, that's exactly like I mentioned earlier. Nobody's really committing to a push. That's not how these compositions work, right? They're scrappy, they poke, they prod, they're looking for small dives, small pokes between the Winston, the Pharah, between the ball and the soldier, finding off angles and flanks is all these teams want to do. And you see Jeff, uncommitted, moves in, drops mines on the point, easily cleared. Biggie by Kemi again being aware of the barrage, but not. Exuberance is down in the back line. Sergeant Pepper finding a nice flank for the Koala Kings.
Sergeant Pepper living up to his name, able to get 2 kills there, with one with the barrage and one with a direct rocket right onto Potty, the nano boost, just to make sure that he can finish it off. And look at this, Ricky getting staggered on the Diva, barely able to get the mech out, but it wasn't enough. Now Koala Kings able to hold here on Blizzard World, but not with a lot of ults in the bank. The only ult they have is that bomb from Kemi.
Yeah, and it's not really going to get you anywhere, right? Everyone on this team has enough mobility to get away from it. You still need another pick, but... Oh! Pepper, relax! Boy, that's too much! You're going to make him salty!
That's definitely his job right now. Sergeant Pepper destroying Potty in midair and gets the finish off onto Exuberance. And now you finally see Koala Kings asserting some sort of hold here on Blizzard World. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here for Palm Beach Poggers. They got ults starting to build up. They might be able to start getting pushes here soon.
Yeah, and see how well they can actually coordinate those. It's really difficult with a composition like this, but with the nano onto the Winston, they could find Thea.
Absolutely. Finding Thea will be a huge hole in the middle of Koala Kings, as they won't be able to have one of their primary support dealers. But Sergeant Pepper kills Daz and finishes off Potty as well! Sergeant Pepper has been absolutely dominating this barricade since he's come in. It's been an absolute destruction from the man behind the Mr. Pepper. And now Koala Kings once again get a hold. No ult expended on either side, and Turbo's about to have that pulse bomb for the next fight.
I mean, mind you, this is no warm-up, coming straight in from halftime. Sergeant Pepper needed literally just point A and said, all right, I'm good. We're all ready for this fight. But 5 ultimates on the other side. It's going to be a tough ask for the Koala Kings to beat out.
The nano boost comes out from Exuberance onto Traffic, and Sergeant Pepper uses the barrage, but it's not enough to kill Traffic. Traffic is able to survive, and Exuberance kills the support player, helping him. And now only one support on the side of Koala Kings, as Thea ends up dropping to the side to the hands of Traffic. Now, finally, Palm Beach Poggers, some stability, some ability to push after a minute and a half of trying to fight through the Koala Kings.
And they only had to use an ultimate or two to get in there as well. Not much to answer here for Koala Kings, but they're going to try and get in. There's no mines to really stall this one out, though. And Nano onto the Diva isn't going to make her get there any faster. It's not 2016. You got to find a retreat, Koala Kings, and they will do so, but at the loss of their Diva.
Absolutely, Kemi getting killed here is going to stagger out Koala Kings once again. And we have a very interesting switch here entering third point. Sergeant Pepper switched over to the Torbjorn.
Thea? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Seems like we have a problem with Thea. It seems like it might be an internet issue there. But regardless, we are seeing wholesale switches coming out for Koala Kings now over onto that Mei. It's going to be interesting to see what we see here from Koala Kings, if they're going to be changing up their style, if they're going to be having entirely different things, if they're going to be able to hold that back the Palm Beach Poggers here.
It's a tough ask. They don't really have an answer to the forest still. Navino is going to be doing their best, but there's not that much to help this soldier out in that sort of fight. Maybe you can hold them off a little bit, but pushing it with 3 ultimates and they're trying to make their composition a little bit less mobile. I'm not sure if that's the answer here. There's a nano boost that's really itching to go on top of that Winston, and that could be a real problem for him coming in the future. But while we've got a break, guys, hey, why don't you guys take a second, go do a little bit of homework. My homework for you being check out Rain. Put that exclamation point, donate in the chat. Find yourself some time. If you got some spare change, check your couch, sweep under the rug, figure out where that is. Find some spare coins. Maybe it's in your PayPal. Maybe somebody Venmo'd you for some food earlier and you've just got that sitting in your account. You didn't even realize it. Check your pockets. Check your car. Where else do you keep change? I don't know. Check it out. Check the donation link, though. Rain, an excellent cause, Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. They're doing fantastic work over there, and we're doing fantastic work trying to bring it to you guys.
Absolutely. If you want to check out Rain, you can type exclamation point donate in the Twitch chat so you can see if you are willing to donate to them via our To Lifty link. Really good so far. Really good cause, and I'm glad Overwatch Tranquility is doing this once again. As we're waiting here for Thea to come back online here for the Koala Kings. We'll see what happens and how long that will be able to take.
I'm curious, right? We saw this in the first map, right? We saw them run the Wrecking Ball with the Pharah, the Soldier. This was everything they wanted to do. Blizzard World's a little bit less of a perfect spot for it, right? You can't surround them the same way you can on a circular control point like you wanted to on Oasis on a lot of those maps. City Center especially, I think was a great opportunity for them to get in there, and they almost did it losing that first fight. But now with Sergeant Pepper in the mix, the Pharah looks a little bit cleaner. They look a little bit more coordinated, and absolutely no shade towards the player that was in subbing for them before. I mean, it's just a team coordination thing, right? You're not practicing with this team, but I think there's some clear differences coming in. Sergeant Pepper is kicking a lot of butt on this Pharah right now. Is there anyone you really want to point out, though?
Definitely Dez has been a huge factor in this matchup. Turbo also on that Tracer. Definitely been two big characters that we haven't really highlighted a lot apart from map 1. Turbo has definitely been a huge DPS factor. Dez as well. They've really been a good DPS core here for Palm Beach Poggers. Traffic as well. That Winston play has been really solid thus far. We'll have to see if they'll be able to make any sort of impact here in this later stages. It's really going to be an interesting matchup here for Palm Beach Poggers, and we'll see if they're able to get any sort of traction to be able to sweep the Koala Kings, or if Koala Kings is going to come back. We are now seeing that Thea is coming back. Yep, there is the sign that she has just joined back in the game. The internet issue has been resolved, and we will be jumping back very shortly.
Yep, everybody go rant at your ISPs. None of them are good. We all know we hate them. We've all got our problems with them. Thea, a little bit more than others, but they'll be coming back. Sans ultimate, which kind of hurts. I'm not sure what the ultimate charge was for Thea, but coming into a point C, it's not exactly a position you want to be in when Palm Beach have 3 of their own.
Thankfully, it was only 7%, so they just used the Nano Boost onto the D.Va, so yeah, they're pretty much fine. And Thea's actually going to be switching over to the Moira now, which is a very interesting swap coming out here now. Oh, yep, that's exactly what I thought. Red Knight switching over to the Lucio as well, so now a Moira-Lucio comp. They're most likely going to be switching to a Brawless. Here comes the Hack Visor from Navino. Unable to get anything, but the follow-up is there. Traffic and Exuberance fall at the hands of Koala Kings. And Koala Kings, after that DC and after a pretty rough start, look like they're going to be able to stabilize here. Here comes the Barrage from Dez, able to get Sergeant Pepper on the Sombra. But that's pretty much it.
I mean, Dez believes in this push, but does anybody else is kind of the question. They haven't gone down quite yet. This far is still in the air, and with that, more spawns are going to be coming in. One more pick could be the difference here, but a big eat on one of the rockets by Kemi keeps the support alive. Navito on an off angle now is dove by Dez. Bomb out equalizes the fight, though, and this one gets messier, but only in favor of Palm Beach Poggers.
Huge hack there from Sergeant Pepper onto Traffic on the Reinhardt as the bomb comes out now from Ricky, and it's able to get the opposing D.Va and Kemi. Palm Beach Poggers suddenly are able to turn this fight around, and it looks like they're going to try to bring this into point 3 as easily as possible. Dez gets the pick onto both supports, and now it's looking rougher and rougher here for Koala Kings. They only have one opportunity to hold this in 1 minute and 38 seconds to try and do it.
They found clarity through the chaos. Sergeant Pepper 60% up to the ultimate. Looking for more, 70% in fact. Things are getting a little messy here. Beautiful pick on the Reinhardt. The entire team collapsing onto the main tank now. Looking for the backline. They recognize the support is the next player to go down. In fact, it will be Koala King solidifying themselves, building up an EMP in the process. They may have found the point to hold, but no. Oh boy, Sergeant Pepper's committing to this one. They get in a coalescence as well. Everything in the kitchen sink is being thrown at this fight, and what could have been an ultimate advantage coming out of this fight has now been an ultimate equalized economy for both sides.
The only thing you have for Koala Kings right now is that beat, but that beat could be a lifesaver in this next fight. Only 1 minute here for Palm Beach Poggers as wholesale DPS changes coming out. Dez is switched over to the Reaper. Turbo switched over to that McCree and Potty. Now on that Lucio apart from the Mercy. It's a full sale swap here for Palm Beach Poggers, but it looks like they're going to try to push in. Koala Kings make the first push. Red Knight with that beat, and the lamp comes out from Palm Beach Poggers, but a very swift disengage. Really quick, really easy, and it looks like Palm Beach Poggers will have another opportunity to push.
Oh, there's not a shield for this one. It catches out Navino. Dez now in the back. Kemi's even better. Says, I raise you one more. 2 more kills traded back by Palm Beach Poggers means this one's far from over. We got to remember, it is a point C. You do need to be finding more picks on the opposing side. Spawn advantage is in for the defenders. They're staggering this excellently. Thea's keeping everything alive, and they're coming back in. Reaper, Reinhardt, D.Va, supports are in. The charge connects. Traffic's down. And that could be it for Koala Kings. They might have done it.
The Shatter came out and got 3 on the floor here from Jeffbot and Koala King right at the line. It looks like they're going to be able to hold back the Palm Beach Poggers. Palm Beach Poggers will not finish the map, and Koala Kings now have a gold set.
I mean, what a stabilization. I thought Palm Beach Poggers might have had an opportunity after that beautiful disengage from Red Knight's sound barrier, but no, they're not able to get in. Beautiful set of clutches. Thea with the stagger of all things, buying just enough time for 4 members to regroup and find the push back in. They've got a goal. It's win 3.0 on Blizzard World. This feels like the closest they've been to really taking on Palm Beach.
Yep, and it looks like we are once again having another internet issue here with Thea, which is unfortunate, but hopefully they're able to sort that out. Remember, all ISPs are bad. But regardless, it's been an amazing match thus far, and honestly, what a huge hold from Koala Kings. They looked like they were on top of the world in that final fight, and they came ever so close to losing that 3rd point and having to go to potentially extra rounds here on Blizzard World. So a great job rebounding there from Koala Kings, and it looks like they're on the way up.
Look, I'll tell you what I want to see more of. Sergeant Pepper Somber was excellent in the backline, finding hacks onto Reinhardt, finding hacks onto Baptiste, 2 of the most valuable people you could be landing those onto. They were timing it with the engagements, right? They were waiting, saying, hey, wait for this hack, and then we're going to find a speed boost in on the back of the fight. They're not using those cooldowns willy-nilly. Hats off as well to both of the Anas here who have been staying alive, despite the fact that there have been Anas and Varas shooting at them constantly. Ended up being BAP swaps for the sides coming in at just the last seconds, but these flex supports have really been playing some excellent Overwatch.
Absolutely amazing Overwatch all around the board. Everybody's performing up to the expectations thus far. Koala Kings still have an opportunity here to try and rebound, and Palm Beach Poggers, again, they were able to get to right toward the end of the map, not able to get all the way there, but it's going to be interesting to see how Koala Kings are going to approach their attack and if they're going to be able to bring it to the 3rd point.
I mean, I've got no doubt they're going to bring at least something, right, with the way they're playing right now. But I'll tell you what, I'm always surprised with what Harmony brings to the table, right? You look at the SRs of these teams, but it's a whole different thing when they're practicing together, when they're playing together, when they're improving together. The coordination between these teams is well above stuff I see regularly in OD. And it's really, really nice to see that these players can play above their level when they're playing together, when they get to communicate and play at their absolute best. Hats off to both of them. They both deserve to be here. Reminder, this is semifinals. Winner goes on. Preseason tournament winner is such a nice title to have going into the season. It makes you a little bit of a target, but at the same time, everyone's just a little bit scared of you, if we're being completely honest. And with that coming back, I think Palm Beach Poggers have a pretty good reason to be scared.
Absolutely. Palm Beach Poggers have a really good reason to be scared, especially with Sergeant Pepper destroying them, and the really Koala Kings looking like an entirely different team right now. So we're going to be getting back into game here with Koala Kings eventually going on the attack.
I'm curious if we see changes. I want to know if we're running dive. I want to know if the Faras are coming back. Do Koala Kings want to stick to that kind of ragtag composition they were running before? It felt like a lot of comfort picks for them with Navino on the Soldier, Sergeant Pepper locking in a Sombra, right? Thea was locked in on Omora, which I know is really comfortable for her. There's a lot of options here that they could be going with, but regardless of that, they've got to find a push here. What do they do it with? A couple seconds to see. Back onto Winston Diva. In fact, Jeff swapping off of the ball. Usually you see teams kind of favor one or the other, but being willing to swap onto the Monkey is an interesting swap here as well. Traffic moving over to a Reinhardt, different from the dive that we saw them run on their attacking side of point A. And Dez bringing out something we haven't seen yet in a Hanzo. This is an entirely different matchup from anything we got prior. It's dive for Koala Kings and a really weird looking brawl for Palm Beach Poggers, but they've got the Lucio, they've got the Baptiste. It feels like they want to play rush, they want to find an engagement. But there's not really an answer as to who you engage on to here, right? The Lucio's going to get away. The Moira is just going to fade. The Reaper can Wraith out, and all the dive options are still there. If Koala Kings can manage their cooldowns appropriately, this should be a pretty decent position for them.
Absolutely. Koala Kings coming out with this Shadow Dive composition now. You just see Palm Beach Poggers bring out this Hanzo. Definitely going to provide more damage, going to be able to provide a lot more shield pressure and damage in general. Really, Hanzo has stepped into the meta as of recently as a replacement for all the hit scans, especially with all the hit scan nerfs coming in. But we'll have to see what the response is here from Palm Beach Poggers. This traffic looks to be backing up a little bit. You do see that Dez ends up getting pressured out by Kemi, but is with the support of his team. And thankfully, it looks like it's going to be fine there, but it's going to be Koala Kings establishing themselves onto this objective, see if they can get anything done with it.
Let's remember, they may not have found a pick, but they do have all the space in the world. Traffic has to push forward, and there's just no option but to run into all that damage. Trying to stabilize now. Dez is putting a little bit of work in. Turbo drops down low, but it's not enough to stop this immovable object that is Koala Kings now on the cart.
Yep, Dez gets Goomba Stomped back into his own spawn, as it looks like Koala Kings will be able to cap point number 1. Exuberance ends up following the map, and Jeffbot uses a very late primal there. I don't know if that was just because he wanted to boop off Exuberance, or he thought that the fight was not going to be over, but regardless, Koala Kings now have this first point, and Palm Beach Poggers looking like they're trying to push in, but they have 3 ults in the bank for Palm Beach Poggers. They might be able to hold here.
There's a couple sneaky ones coming up for Koala Kings. Let's keep in mind, Coalescence and Excellence Engage ult. Sergeant Pepper coming up on an EMP could foil this whole thing. There's a lot of nice ones for Palm Beach, but a lot of big ones for Koala.
Yep, and you do see the fight taking place up there. Jeffbot trying to get a little bit of damage, but has to retreat to
this
the
could
comfort
hurt
of his team. Oh, and that's a big pick from the bomb from Ricky. Red Knight ends up falling. That's one of your main sources of healing down as the Coalescence comes out from Thea, trying to make a move, and that's a 5-minute EMP from Sergeant Pepper against everybody but the Lucio, and the Lucio does not have beat to try and save it. Just like that, Koala Kings turn the fight in their favor and end up taking the win, the fight win and continue pushing.
This is what I was talking about on Oasis. Their understanding of when they can go out, when they can go in is so good. They knew they were down a person, but they also knew they had one of the best combos in the game. The second the EMP hit everything, Navino knew it was free. In the backline with the Death Blossom, now for a re-engage with 6 members. It's bomb into the backline, looking for something big on the engage, but the Dragon to recontest here for Palm Beach Poggers is even better.
Yeah, Kemi ends up dying to the Dragon Striking. Red Knight also dies as well in the hands of Dez. Dez putting on a show with this Hanzo. That's a 3rd kill. That's all it takes for Koala Kings to have to retreat out of this fight. Palm Beach Poggers establish a hold right by checkpoint B.
And now how do you break this? You got to build up another one of those EMPs. It feels like it is kind of the Koala Kings end-all be-all answer, but Sergeant Pepper now being zoned off, it's tough to find an answer to where you want to decloak here. Where do you get charge? You're going to get defense matrix pretty much immediately. There's a little bit, building up another 20% for Sergeant Pepper, but I don't think Koala Kings really want to make a full engage quite yet until that Sombra can get back in. No, they go in anyways, 5v6 here, but they've got some ultimates to work with.
The Shatter misses from traffic, and you do see that now Jeffbot with the Primal in the backline here for Palm Beach Poggers as Exuberance gets hacked. That's huge. The Immortality Field is not being able to use, as now Palm Beach Poggers starting to falter, and Koala King look like they might be on the road to claiming point B. Unless that happens, both supports are down on Koala Kings. Will it be enough here for Palm Beach Poggers to hold?
I don't think it will be. I'll be completely honest. Koala Kings pushed in. They split the team in half. They forced the supports away from the tanks, and now they've got an EMP if they want to seal this thing off. I think it's not unwise to use it. They go for it. Onto the backline. Catches everyone out. Same combo we saw before. No surprises here for Koala Kings. It's only real solid Overwatch. Dez is looking for some cleanups, but there's nothing here.
You would have thought the EMP wouldn't have been a good move to make, but actually a huge move there for Koala Kings. They're able to use the EMP and get a 2K with Navino's Blossom. The only person left on the cart is Ricky's Diva once again. Turbo comes out the dead and once again gets 2! But it's not enough to keep the points! Turbo gets a Deadeye and just makes it so the enemy team has quicker spawns.
It was the most nothingest somethingest Deadeye I've seen in my whole life, right? It got 2, but it was the 2 frags that I think I've seen matter the least, because now there's a re-engage for Koala Kings. Excellent dive by Jeffbot, catching an out-of-position Patty. It'll be traded out, though. Neither team gets a Lucio, and they want more. They're double dipping their chip, but oh boy, that's not very hygienic. In fact, it's not very good for your team either. They're going down 1 by 1.
Yeah, Koala Kings are really staggering themselves here, with Palm Beach Poggers looking to get some sort of stabilization here toward the end of point C. And now Koala Kings now on the receiving end of a potential hold here from Palm Beach Poggers. What an absolute mess of a minute we just witnessed, Dor.
Yeah, but things do clarify, because there's a whole lot of 3 minutes left on the clock here, and a big EMP up for Koala Kings. 1 EMP is not going to win them the whole point, though. Sergeant Pepper, I think they know that. They've got to find a way to roll this into a little bit more.
Well, 1 EMP would do enough. If it's a bomb EMP, and that's exactly what happens in traffic. Ends up getting killed by the bomb. What a huge setup there from Pepper and Kemi. And now it looks like Koala Kings being able to push forward. Sergeant Pepper littering the kill feed with 2. And now Koala Kings pushing their way to try and cap here on Blizzard World as Ricky falls to an untimely death.
Exuberance and Ricky going down late really hurts, so they're not going to have the quick re-engage that they wanted. They've got a lot of ultimates here, but 1 well-timed sound barrier from Red Knight might be able to get him across the finish line.
The Shatter is up here from traffic, and it gets 2. It gets Kemi and Red Knight. It might have also gotten Navino as well, and Red Knight, the Lucio, is down. Koala Kings without one of their supports. The bomb misses from Ricky. and Palm Beach Poggers look like they're going to try to stabilize here. Navino trying to finish off Turbo here in the backline. He has that Death Blossom online. Does he use it here? No, he doesn't. He ends up going back to spawn, and Koala Kings look like they're going to be retreating here after a lot of ults were expended on the side of Palm Beach Poggers.
Yeah, there were 5 ultimates up at the start of that fight for Palm Beach. There's only 1 now. And look at the other side, Sgt. Pepper, the EMP, it has not failed them yet. They want this engagement. They've got 91% too. This should be easy. Clean up a minute 40 to get this thing across the finish line, but that's only one where EMP Exuberance. Oh! Shuts it down.
Huge play.
Koala Kings have got to disengage. They have to know they can't take this fight right now.
Yep, Exuberance stalling out Koala Kings even longer with that kill onto Sgt. Pepper. Regardless, however, Pepper does have that EMP, so we'll have to see if it gets used in this next fight. Most likely, EMP Blossom is the call here for Koala Kings. And here comes EMP!
There it is!
Six man! Huge EMP as Navino gets 2 with the Blossom, looking for a 3rd. Unable to get it, but regardless, the damage has been done. And Koala Kings make the first step to try and getting that reverse sweep. They take Blizzard World.
I'm hearing the horns, baby. Somebody said beep, beep. Koala King's looking good. Sgt. Pepper's found an answer. This Sombra looks incredible. He says, my life for the cause. Throws it in, dies for it, but knows the Death Blossom. Has faith in Navino. Is going to be there to clean it up. And this thing's looking a lot closer than it was in map 1.
Absolutely. What a huge play there from the Koala Kings. Excellent coordination, excellent execution. And now, as you can see, Red Knight falling to an untimely death at the hands of Traffic. Definitely a huge move there from Koala Kings. And now, they're on the road to trying and reverse sweep the Palm Beach Poggers.
I love the facelift we're getting for Koala Kings. They get Sgt. Pepper in, all of a sudden all the pieces, all the gears fall right into place and start meshing with one another. The Pharah looked incredible. The Sombra was perfectly timed, not just for themselves, but for the team as well, backing them up and allowing them to find push after push after push. And I'll tell you what, when you're pushing a payload, it's not easy to time those EMPs, but every single one of them was perfect, uncounterable. Koala Kings have all the momentum in the world, and now we're looking at PB Poggers to try and turn this thing around. They're going to take it to Rialto to do so. They want to get Dez on a Pharah. You can tell that's the only thing they want to force, and it's a pretty good map to do it. Remember, it only takes 1 here to end this thing.
Absolutely. Dez on that Pharah has been lethal here for the Koala Kings. However, we have to keep our eye on Sgt. Pepper. Remember round number 1, he was destroying Palm Beach Poggers on that Pharah and putting Dez back in his spawn room most of the time. I think this is going to be a huge Pharah duel here on Rialto, and if it isn't, then I don't know what we're going to get.
What I'm really curious to see is what we get tanks-wise, right? A lot of time on this map, we're expecting some weird stuff, either double shield, sometimes the dives run, double bubble's really popular here. It's good at controlling the high ground on point A and really not letting the cart pass that second corner. There's a ton of options for these teams, and I think it'll go to show what teams are really beginning to be comfortable with. I don't think the Reinhardt compositions are going to come out here in particular because they don't have an answer to the Pharah, which can be really prominent here. But outside of that, I think it's free game. Does Sgt. Pepper want to continue running the Sombra? Kind of up to them. He looked good on both of the heroes, but if they don't, they do really risk being careful about that Pharah. And one more thing falls into place for Koala Kings on top of that. Thea, as well as they played, is out. It's Gag coming in to try and clean things up.
And with that, Koala Kings have a full 6-man lineup. No more ringers. All players on the team. It's a full synergized lineup. This means the Koala Kings might have an opportunity here to get that reverse sweep. Not saying that the ringers were bad. They're definitely not out of the equation. They were amazingly skilled. They did their jobs, and they did excellent at those jobs. But having synergy with your teammates can make or break a game. So we're going to have to see if Koala Kings can prosper off of that synergy and be able to take the victory here.
Yeah, I feel like we've just slowly assembled all of the pieces of Exodia with this Koala Kings roster, right? We're in like the final episode of the arc. It's getting just there. The right arm comes on. Gag just places the head on top, and all of a sudden, PB Poggers, I mean, you've got to be feeling a little bit of quaking in your shoes to see another player get subbed in for this team. You were a little worried on Blizzard World. You're like, oh no, this team still gets better. They still get better. Where's the top for Koala Kings is my question. Are they done improving? Is this it? Do PB Poggers getting a chance to fire back? Will they start improving? Was that the best that we get to see from them? A lot of questions to be answered here in map number 4, but we're heading into it anyways. What are you expecting supports-wise? I'm actually really curious, right? We saw Ana's played, we saw Zenyatta's, or not Zenyatta's, rather, the Lucios were very prominent parts of the compositions. The rotations look great. Exuberance and Red Knight, though, have a lot of questions to answer.
Absolutely. The support lineup has been a huge question mark throughout this entire matchup. We've been seeing the Anna Mercy whenever they want to run that Pharah. We've been seeing the Lucio Bap, the Lucio Moira whenever they want to run that Brawl style. We could see that Mercy Ana predominant here if this is a Pharah-centric map. If both of these teams whip out the Pharah, then we're going to be seeing that sort of comp coming out here. And also, as a news update for the rest of the tournament, we now have the confirmed opponent. Whoever wins this match is going to be facing off against last year's preseason champions, the Flashbacks.
Uh-oh, that's a little bit tricky, but this one's not over. There's a long road before the end of this match, and a very interesting one at that. Koala Kings going for a Reinhardt composition. Again, very tricky with Pharah being in the place that she is, but there's a lot of weight on Kemi, who's done an excellent job countering these barrages so far. I have complete faith in that. Navino and Sgt. Pepper, though, running double hit scan into the Pharah. Theoretically, it's a good counter, but we have to remember those hit scanners hit hard, man, and I'm a little bit worried as to whether or not they can do it. Patty's been an excellent pocket for Dev so far. There's a lot of weight on this Pharah to make it work. We're watching the DPS this point A to see who gets the momentum heading forward in the series.
Absolutely. We now see that Palm Beach Poggers are coming out on this dive competition with the Pharah. Dez starting to peek out in front of him with the hit scans, trying to knock out any sign of that Pharmacy. Try to bring it down to the ground as traffic dives in. Now you do see Palm Beach Poggers trying to assert some sort of pressure here onto Koala Kings, but Koala Kings looking nice and steady there with that Baptiste and Lucio and Jeff Bot on that Reinhardt. Looks like they are going to be rotating, however, to the low ground. And now, what do you do if you're Palm Beach Poggers? Do you try to dive somebody, or do you continue trying to have this Pharah pressure out?
I want to point out how little damage this Pharah takes at a time. It is literally pebbles. It is 15 damage at a time from the Kree. It's 2 damage at a time from the Soldier. Asleep allows a big dive in, and that's the opportunity they were looking for. Dez in the back line looking to do a lot of damage. Is it really getting countered, but has to find a reset here. Doesn't have the jump jets that they need to get out of this sticky situation. Stunned down, and Navino at close range takes out the Flyer.
What a huge pick from Navino. Traffic also fell early in that fight. Now no DPS remain on the side of Palm Beach Poggers as Navino busts out the Deadeye to deal with Potty on the Mercy. And just like that, Palm Beach Poggers is back to the drawing board here.
Great hold by Koala Kings. And it was not just taking down Dez, right? It was what came before that. It was the hold on the dive when the concussion blast came in, when the Winston came in post-sleep from Exuberance. Great job stabilizing, but that's not quite everything they need. They've got 3 ultimates now. They've got a pretty good position, if we're being completely honest. With the Reinhardt swap coming in for Palm Beach Poggers, it spells a little bit of uncomfortability. Oh boy, are we going everywhere? Dez, are you changing too? So close to a barrage, and the pulse bomb turbo's going? Oh, this is tough. This is so difficult. In the second fight, you're giving up so much ultimate charge to make this comp swap, and with 2 minutes on the clock, you don't really have time to make that up.
Yeah, absolutely. What a huge move here from
one Ant Matrix.
It's going to be rough, and there's the Ant Matrix straight down the hallway. Jeff Bot being able to eliminate traffic, speaking of highway, and now you do see Koala King starting to assert their dominance, but if you're Palm Beach Poggers, they're looking at it as a good sign. Now that's one big ultimate from the Koala Kings out.
Yeah, a bit of a jam there, but they get through it. I mean, I don't know if it was not quite factored into the calculations that they had an amplification matrix, but at least it was a quick fight, if nothing else. Palm Beach did manage to build up a bomb in the meantime, which, again, not the most valuable thing. They'll take the same highway that they got in last time. Bomb over top, they've got the shatter combo. Oh, beautiful stuff!
Not a shatter combo. Speaking of the shatter, though, it's a 4-man from Jeffbot. He swings that hammer and eliminates everybody on that field. And just like that, now the Koala King, 2 ults down, but they still have 2 more in the bank. And Palm Beach Poggers, it's looking rough here with this comp swap.
I think my favorite thing we're getting out of Koala Kings is proactivity right now, right? The engagement with Soundberry, the engagements with Coalescence last map, taking the forward step with Bomb there, making sure they're the ones starting these fights off.
Yep, and that's exactly what we're seeing here from Koala Kings. They're making sure they dictate the aggression of this match. Palm Beach Poggers are currently playing their game. They need to flip the table and get into a new one. And now you see the bomb coming out here from Ricky. Dez gets that huge bomb pick onto Jeffbot, and there goes Gag to the hand of Ricky. And now Palm Beach Poggers, after 3 whole minutes of having an entirely new comp, they finally stabilize and are pushing this cart once more.
It's not quite there yet, though. They got to get through one more fight, and with a Deadeye with an Ant Matrix, that can be pretty tricky in this position. I love to see them play aggressive, but as long as Koala Kings don't get too big for their britches, they've got a pretty good push going for them here.
very preliminary dragon just to make sure the Koala Kings can't push down the main, but they are able to get there anyway. The Imp Matrix comes out from both sides. The beat comes out from Potty. Ultra being exchanged across the board, and there's huge picks. Navino gets 2 with the Deadeye, but Traffic gets 2 with the Fire Strike. And just like that, now Palm Beach Poggers in the advantage in this fight, and they will take point A. And now we do see some switches coming out for Koala Kings, but Palm Beach Poggers, they get to live a little longer.
Yeah, Clarity through the Chaos Exuberance finds a beautiful setup for the Implication Matrix to just rip away all of the resources. Even if it didn't directly result in a kill, it pulled out an Immortality Field. It pulled out the opposing Ant Matrix. It made a lot of things not valuable that would be. It dropped the health pool total of Koala Kings. Really good heads-up play, and again, I just have to highlight these flex support players right now. Sergeant Pepper will swap over to the Sombra, though, as they try to stabilize this. It'll be a tricky fight for Koala Kings to push back into, but they've got the space that they wanted.
It's another full sale comp swap here for Koala King. Switching over that Shadow Dive, and there's a big shatter coming out from Traffic. Jetbot and Navino fall as now Koala Kings look like they're going to have to sacrifice this fight. Exuberance does die in the bomb, and Kid Potty dies in the layback. Kemi is trying to bring this fight back from the brinks of defeat, and it looks like they might just be able to, unless Ricky gets a 2K bomb, getting Pepper and Gag. Palm Beach Poggers bring back from a situation that was almost lost, and Koala Kings are retreating once again.
If anybody can tell me with any degree of certainty what just happened in that fight, you are far smarter than I am. That was absolutely ridiculous. But there's still a recontest here for Koala Kings. We have to remember, their spawns are closer, so those messy fights are always going to be much better leaning towards them.
You see Jetbot diving really deep in there. The rest of the team trying to follow. Sergeant Pepper very low. Looks like he was trying to get any sort of EMP charge he could. But now Jetbot's stuck in a situation. The Primal comes out, but not before Red Knight ends up dying at the hands of Turbo. And now the Amplification Matrix used. Now Palm Beach Poggers look like they're starting to push forward once again. The Coalescence comes out from Gag, and the Deadeye gets rid of Navino. Navino unable to get any sort of flank there onto Palm Beach Poggers. And it looks like the point might go to Palm Beach.
And I've got to say again, I love seeing Koala Kings try and take this front foot, but it's the same thing that did it to them on point A. They got too big for their britches, try for a sound barrier engage while their cooldowns are down, and it's not going to work, right? We saw the Winston jump in, and then the sound barrier was used. I'm not sure about this EMP. Honestly, this point, it might as well be taken at this point. Sergeant Pepper blows a little bit of an EMP, and you're starting to see Koala Kings fluster a little bit, if we're being completely honest, right? The sound barrier engage wasn't perfectly clean. That EMP was fruitless at the very least, and now you're going in as a shatter up for the opposing side. You're giving ultimate charge over to Palm Beach. This thing is going to get pretty tough for Koala Kings, and I don't see a clear way for them to engage the fights they may have prior.
Yeah, they tried to set up a desperate EMP and Death Blossom from there, but Navino ended up falling very quickly. The shatter comes out for Traffic, but a huge block from Jetbot. Now Traffic is hacked, the Immortality Field is out, and now Palm Beach Poggers look like they're going to have a very rough time. The bomb gets Turbo, and Kemi goes in with the rematch kill and gets Dez. Navino cleans up the rest of the fight, and Koala Kings establish a hold here by the second quarter of Point C.
Dude, it's the off-tanks and the flex supports. I'm telling you, they're dictating these fights. Kemi, Ricky, Exuberance, and Gag are running the show here. That is absolutely ridiculous. 51 seconds on the clock now in Palm Beach. That point A hold is coming back to haunt them. They haven't got much to work with here, but they've got to find a push.
Yeah, I mean, you see Palm Beach Poggers trying to push forward. They do have that Deadeye and Ant Matrix combo. Again, they use the Ant Matrix preliminary. Koala King starts to rotate around. They are currently all around them right now, and Navino tries to go to the back line, but ends up fading away. And now Palm Beach Poggers, they look like they're going to be able to... Yep, they engage onto Navino. Navino's down. That's a DPS dead, but now Dez falls on the other side. And now it's an even fight. Jetbot ends up falling to the hands of Ricky. And you see Palm Beach Poggers trying to get advantage. The Deadeye is canceled from Gag. A huge move there from the flex support on the Koala Kings. Ricky unable to get the bomb off. He was hacked, unable to do anything. And that's a 4-man EMP coming out from Sergeant Pepper. But there's no follow-up. Nobody's there to act upon it. Koala Kings starting to falter here at the last seconds. They are still getting kills, however, but the shatter from Jetbot gets a few. The shatter from Traffic is even bigger, gets both of the tanks onto the ground. And now you can see Koala Kings continually trying to bring this back from the brink of defeat. And Palm Beach Poggers right there, looking at the last corner, looking at the final stretch, trying to finish this map.
Oh, the Sand Matrix is absolutely massive. Finds a way through. Resets for the team. Allows Health Bars to come back up. There's Dez in the back line with the Death Blossom to finish off one more. And as long as they can keep these staggers as staggers, they're feeling pretty good about the rest of this push. They've got the ultimates to do it. A sound barrier left to keep them alive in this fight. Can Koala Kings find a big set of picks here?
And he does have that bomb. The first bomb comes out from Ricky. It's unable to get anything, but Dez has already finishing off the fight. Will Hemi be able to get that bomb up? Yes, he will. Will be able to get anybody on the point? No, it won't.
Again,
it
the
gets
remake!
on the ped. On the Petty. That's the third remake kill for Kemi today, but it won't be enough. John, enough pressure there applied. And just like that, you're going to see Palm Beach Poggers finish out Rialto with no time in the bank.
You've just got to feel Koala Kings are a little lost in the sauce right now. The proverbial sauce is thick and goopy and very difficult to wade through, but their minds are deep in it, right? They've got so much momentum coming off that last map. They're really feeling themselves, but it's forcing mistakes, right? I don't think we saw too many good EMPs. I don't think we saw the same level of sound barriers that we were getting in previous maps. And if they can take a second, collect themselves, understand, hey, we need to time these well. We can do these with 6-man engages. We can find a few more clean opportunities to make those sound barrier engages happen with our tank cooldowns as opposed to just trying to make them happen whenever. The EMPs can't be being used late in fights. If they can clean up that ultimate usage, I think we see a Koala Kings that's in the same position as they were last map. But if they can't do that, I worry a little bit. Palm Beach might have pushed them to the brink.
Yep, we will see Palm Beach Poggers here on the defense, still choosing their heroes, but it looks like they're going to be going once again for this Ryan Ziva with the Sombra and the Bap Lucio. Turbo's probably going to be playing something like McCree or something. Nope, we're going to be seeing the Hanzo McCree, looks like, here on defense for Palm Beach Poggers. But on the side of Koala Kings, it looks like they're going to be sticking with this Reaper Sombra. It looks like they have confidence in this composition, and it looks like they're trying to bring this home with it. So now here we go. Pressure. So much pressure indeed, as now Koala Kings come out of the spawn gates. Palm Beach Poggers holding that high ground right now with the Tracer Hanzo. No Hanzo McCree. We instead see Turbo on that Tracer. Most likely going to try to go to the back line and try to get any flanks he can. But we do see Koala Kings immediately trying to push up. They're just trying to take the fight straight to the Poggers.
I mean, I like the composition we're getting out of Koala Kings. I like that they're looking to play aggressive here, but Palm Beach having none of it, zoning them away, holding this high ground like their lives depend on it. Remember that cart's moving, though. That's really important to remember here. This composition says, hey, we want to hold this high ground. We want to keep our Hanzo up here poking away at you. We want our Tracer and Diva to contest this cart, but it's not quite that easy. The cart continues forward. They've got the first corner, and now you have to give away the high ground.
Yep, the high ground has been sacrificed here for Palm Beach Poggers. Actually, no, they're still on there. Traffic and Ricky are still there. And then comes down a 4K shatter coming out from Traffic. Ends up destroying the Koala Kings and sends them right back to spawn. What a huge play there from Palm Beach Poggers.
I mean, at the last possible second, that high ground play pays out for them. The investment is, worth it eventually. So hats off to Palm Beach Poggers playing their composition to a T, utilizing what they needed to get there. But like I mentioned, that cart got to where it needed to for Koala Kings. They get to go into the next fight, building near that EMP. And despite the fact that Palm Beach Poggers have a nice set of ultimates coming up for them, that EMP Barrage, or the EMP Death Blossom rather, has been so good for Koala Kings.
May not even the Death Blossom, but that's 2 kills on the side of Palm Beach Poggers. The Blossom comes down and gets 2. Dez and Exuberance dead at the hands of Navino and Koala Kings, despite losing 2 in that fight to Dez's Dragon Strike, will be able to push.
It's been so scary for them having to run away from this Reaper constantly. Navino fears absolutely nothing in the back line. Cart progressing, much better time bank for Koala Kings. They push in now. They've got an EMP, they've got Sound Barrier, they've got everything they can need to break this. If Exuberance could land a big Amp Matrix, maybe combo with a Fire Strike, they've got a way in here.
Palm Beach Poggers looking to try and defend point A here. You do see Traffic right by there. Barely is able to contest at 0.38 meters, but Kemi gets the first kill on the Turbo. The pressure is there right now for Palm Beach Poggers, and the EMP comes out. It's 4 on the ground, but actually the barrier comes out from Potty. Perfect timing, but Kemi gets 2 anyway. Traffic and Potty die at the hands of the bomb, and Koala Kings with that kill. It looks like they're going to be able to try and push this into point A and get time here for point B.
Please. Please,
maybe
Kemi.
Not. Turbo is on that cart falling, but Death ends up falling. Turbo
they just
barely able to stall it out. Traffic is there trying to continue it, but it's not enough. Oh, the shatter comes out late. 1 second too late. Traffic gets the shatter, but unfortunately, Koala Kings did cap point A and are on their way to point B. Palm Beach Poggers is just a stomping ground right now as Jeff Butt hits the shatter. Traffic falls, and it looks like now you're going to see Koala Kings finally pushing forward as the Palm Beach Poggers are set to reset.
I mean, Kemi can't keep getting away with this. It's just ridiculous, man. These two-man bombs, the remake kills. Kemi is playing absolutely out of their minds. Followed up with a shatter from Jeff like that. You're looking at a good game. A few more ultimates up for Palm Beach, though, and no real threat of an EMP in this fight right now. It's not going to stop Koala Kings, though. They've got a Cole engage.
Yeah, but a disconnect there from Gag almost misses the point onto Jeffbot, but now you see Navino once again in the backline. When Navino's in your backline, you have to be careful. He's wreaking havoc, especially with that Death Blossom. He gets traffic and does enough pressure just so the Koala Kings can continue advancing this cart. The cart is not even around the last corner. It's pretty much right by the stairs right now. But you do see Koala Kings putting this pressure onto Palm Beach Poggers and getting results out of it. We'll have to see if Palm Beach Poggers can make any sort of changes.
I mean, I'm a little worried. Kemi's got another bomb. That's like a guaranteed 2K coming to this, right?
Oh, no. It's not a 2K. He had to use a direct mech reset, but the EMP comes out. It's 3 big picks, and Jeffbot, swinging the hammer, is able to kill 2 people. And now Koala Kings looking real nice. 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock to cap point C.
Gorgeous time bank, gorgeous bit of space taking as well. They've got everything to stabilize here, save for the EMP, but there's not a clear fight win for Palm Beach Poggers, right? They've got a lot of ultimates, but there's not a combo. There's not an EMP Death Blossom like Koala Kings have. Everything here is piecemeal. They've got to Build-A-Bear a combo together for themselves if they want to win this fight, but they do have a lot of tools to use at the very least.
We do see a big swap coming out here on the side of Palm Beach Poggers. Dez has switched over to that Junkrat, trying to provide more shield pressure to be able to try and destroy Jeffbot and get this team rolling down. Gag brings out the Coalescence, but the bomb comes out from Ricky. Will be able to get any picks? No. Too high up in the sky, but Dez ends up getting hacked, but it's a huge stun coming out from Turbo, and a big shatter coming out from Traffic, able to get almost all the players on Koala Kings on the ground, but almost no follow-up. Navino dies as well on the side of Koala Kings, and now that's the cue. That's when they disengage. That's when now Koala Kings have to try and come back in with another engage, as Palm Beach Poggers have finally stabilized.
Patty has so much work to do in this next fight. This sound barrier has got to be huge. I see EMP, Shatter, Death Blossom. How do you get out of this? Patty's got to stay away, has to have the wherewithal, and they're doing so. They're playing this one smart, but it's going to be a tough fight.
Patty's trying to hide because they know that Sergeant Pepper has EMP. We'll have to see if they are able to counter it with that beat, or if it's going to be a sad day here for Palm Beach Poggers. Here comes the EMP. He gets trapped. Only the tanks are involved in the EMP. The trap ends up negating almost all of the effect of that EMP. What a huge play from Dez. As the Deadeye comes out from the side of Palm Beach Poggers, it doesn't do a lot except damage, but damage is all you need when you start finding picks late in the fight. Navino and Red Knight die. Diz gets killed, but also Jeffbot falls into the hands of Turbo, and Palm Beach Poggers stabilize once again. A little bit less than 2 minutes on the clock here for Koala Kings to try and finish the map.
That's about as perfect as it gets. Remember, though, Sergeant Pepper's got enough time to build up another EMP. You can't pat them on the back enough, though. Palm Beach Poggers did everything perfectly in that fight, and their rewarders with good position. As long as they don't get Death Blossom by Navino again, they'll be fine here.
Matrix coming out here from Palm Beach Poggers. Dez trying to shoot the orbs through that to be able to get excess damage and get almost an instant kill with one of his orbs. The tire comes out. The Coalescence on the enemy side. But you see Traffic. He's starting to swing the hammer. He's in their front line. And now Koala Kings might have to retreat, but not until we do see 2 picks coming out on the side of Koala Kings, but that's going to be a reset. 2 picks won't get you a fight win in this game. And now Koala Kings, 1 minute on the clock. Sergeant Pepper's trying to C9. Nope, they know.
Nah, it's just trying to get a little bit of pressure, build up some more ultimate charge. You've got a minute left to build up 25% and land a clean EMP. It is a lot of time, but it's also a lot of pressure to be under. That's what you're relying on to win this one. And now with Remech back up, Palm Beach Poggers don't have that many ultimates to work with in their own right, but Amplification Matrix and Deadeye can zone for absolute years pushing into this.
What Koala Kings want to do is they want to try to get that EMP bomb combo right now. They have the EMP bomb right now. Here comes the bomb from the other side, Palm Beach Poggers. Nobody dies as a result. Ricky ends up remeching. No remech kill is going to be coming out. Here comes the EMP from Sergeant Pepper. The bomb comes out as well. It's a 4-man EMP. And it's a 4-man bomb from Kenny! What a huge play and a huge stop from the Koala Kings. They're on the road to completing the map. 20 seconds to try and get a little bit farther. Ricky being able to stall out the card. That's huge. Palm Beach Poggers might be able to stall this out enough. The Deadeye and the Tire are going to be on the field here. As you see Traffic trying to contest it. Here comes the Tire from Dez. The Deadeye coming out from Turbo as well. No kills on the side of that, but Davino dies in the hands of the Deadeye. As now it's just a hold here. Can Palm Beach Poggers stall this out? It looks like it won't be possible. Dez and Ricky are the last two. Traffic comes in on that wrecking ball, but ends up getting switched to the side. And Koala Kings looking nice and clean, looking like they're going to be able to complete Rialto and bring us to extra innings.
I mean, it's been so difficult to hold on here. A veritable smorgasbord of ultimates was up for Palm Beach Poggers in that final fight. But the EMP bomb, seeing through it all, Pepper was ready for it. Pepper was ready for the pressure to land that EMP and finish things off. The bombs have been perfect from this D.Va. I don't think there was any doubt it was coming in, but it's the first time we've seen that ultimate in particular comboed with the EMP, and for that, I've got to give my hat off, right? We've seen every combo available. EMP Death Blossom, EMP Shatter, EMP Bomb. What are we going to get next from this team? They play so well around this Sombra. They've just got to do it a little bit longer. I mentioned earlier on their defensive side, the beats and the EMPs were not well timed. It was a bit of a just look completely out of form for Koala King, something we haven't seen from them since they got Pepper back in. But now, seems like they've found their footing. Seems like they can reset. They've got a minute to prove it now on the defensive side to stop Palm Beach Poggers from taking this thing 3-1. Let's see if they can get it done. There's a whole swap on the other side. Palm Beach bringing up an Echo of all things. Traffic swapping onto a Winston. They want to control the high ground. They're going for value now, not later. Quick building ultimates from Coalescence and the Duplicate. Quick pressure from the Winston and the D.Va. They want to win this thing early.
Palm Beach Poggers want to try to get as much progress as possible. They saw how well Koala Kings were able to stop them and push that cart on their attack. They want to try to make sure that they can get as far as possible, so Koala Kings have a long way to go. We do see the exact same thing we saw in the first defense for Koala Kings. We see the McCree and we see the Soldier for the DPS, so we'll have to see if Koala Kings will have any sort of adaptation here and be able to make a move and try to win this match. We do, however, see something interesting. Exuberance is on the Ana this time for the side of Palm Beach Poggers. That's very different. We haven't seen Ana Lucio so far today. We've seen everything except this.
I mean, you expect it with the Winston. They're playing for a nano boost. They're building early. The one goal here of this Ana is to build nano boost as fast as possible. There's a key, though. The tanks have to take damage. They've got to be willing to and do it on purpose in order to build that up. And it looks like they're doing an excellent job. Exuberance already up to 40%. That's a big jump towards what they want to be doing.
Ooh, but the dive in from Traffic ends up getting stunned. Traffic dies at the hands of Red Knight. A huge stun there coming out from Navino. Koala Kings looking like they're going to be able to stabilize here as the D-Mech comes out onto Ricky. The stagger coming out as well. Ricky won't be able to get that mech back before he ends up getting sent back to spawn. As now the Palm Beach Poggers in desperation mode. You see Traffic switching over to the Reinhardt. Someone's got to touch that cart, and it looks like they do trigger the overtime. Traffic and Jeffbot have a little headbutting situation over there, as it looks like Koala Kings are going to hold off the Palm Beach Poggers here. Less than 50 meters on the side of Palm Beach Poggers. That's all Koala Kings need to do to bring this to a map 5.
Oh, that map 5's feeling within grasp, Bowsy. I'm feeling it. Koala Kings just got to get across that little line in order to do this. And you know what? Comps be damned. The earlier maps be damned. Everything is thrown out the window. All that matters is this. What composition do you locked in? We've seen everything from Ball to Winston to Sombra to Dive with Afara. We've seen them play a whole veritable amount of heroes. But they only get one to choose to try and hold on to this thing in overtime. That minute time bank, I mean, it feels like enough to get across that line, but it also felt like enough for Palm Beach Poggers to get further than that. This thing could be flipped on its head right here and now. Out comes the Bastion for Dez.
Boy.
There it is. Double shield. This is vintage Harmony tier. Everything they wanted and more, all on the shoulders of one robot.
Bastion coming out from Palm Beach Poggers. That shows they want to end this right now. They do not want the Koala Kings pushing, but at the same time, this is a huge risk. If Koala Kings get that payload right underneath them, then they have to drop down. They have to rotate. They have to change their positioning. That's an opportunity for Koala Kings to engage. We'll have to see what Koala Kings decides to pull out here. They look like they're going to be going for that standard brawl, the McCree Reaper with the Rhine D.Va. We'll have to see what they're able to do, how they're going to adapt, and if Palm Beach Poggers are going to the finals.
So much pressure. They haven't revealed the Bastion. There it is. And as sighs of pain are let out on the side of Koala Kings, they go for the flank underneath. Des repositions around the side. It's all on the D.Va here. Look at Kemi to try and get the defense matrix. So much pressure on this team to push this card forward while contesting this Bastion. They decide to back off, but now the rotate's in.
The final push here for Koala Kings. They're trying to get to that final corner. The Bastion is right there on the top left. Koala Kings needs something to try and deal with this Bastion. Kemi's been doing an amazing job being able to defend it. Red Knight tries to boop some people.
There's the drop.
There's the drop there from the Palm Beach Poggers. The Bastion now is exposed sights right in front of Jeffbot, but Jeffbot gets melted, but the Bastion also falls to the hands of Navino. Sergeant Pepper is now in the back line, and Koala Kings, they're not out of this just yet. We're going to map 5, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a real shower.
All the way! Somebody get your horns out! It's time for the beep beep, baby! Koala Kings have come back with the vigor we've never seen. Halftime, sub in Sergeant Pepper, get Gag in the mix, and all the rest of a sudden this team's looking better than ever. They're aggressive, they're strong, they're confident. The Bastion didn't even throw them off their ankles. What more can this Palm Beach side bring to the table? What more can they try and throw into the mix to get Koala Kings off their rocker? I'm not sure what else.
So now we head over to Control. The final Control map of the day is going to be a choice from the Palm Beach Poggers, and it's going to be between Lijiang Tower and Nepal. If you are Palm Beach Poggers, what do you go for right now?
Dude, you can't put this pressure on me. I think they want to play a little bit more of the Reinhardt. I'm not sure if they want to play the Far or not. Dez has been on everything, but I don't think they've had an answer since Sergeant Pepper came into the game. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of the dive style. I like the Winston that they brought out. I thought Traffic looked really good on it. They had a really good idea on the attacking side. It was just one small leap a little bit too far that ended up doing it for them. So Nepal feels like a pretty decent pick for me as well. They looked fantastic on Symmetra May, so they've got options there. And so bring it to Lijiang. Okay, that's what their pick's going to end up being. It's not too bad, right? You take it to the night market, you get to play Symmetra again. Dez can play the Far if you want to spam out the point. Gardens as well offers you more opportunities to play the Far in a relatively uncounterable state. So there's stuff they want to run here, but I'm not sure anything's necessarily advantageous so much as it is just slightly more comfortable.
Palm Beach Poggers can run Symmetra on every point of this map. It's not exclusive to just 2. You can run Symmetra on every map, but they also chose Lijiang because they want to try to run that Pharah more. It's definitely obvious. They've been running this Pharah every time. That seems to be their big comfort point. We're going to see what they are able to do. Will Palm Beach Poggers be able to deny the reverse sweep, or Koala Kings going to the finals?
Now, we've got a lot of viewers in here. It's a good game. It's a fantastic one, but we have to remind you guys what we're doing it for. If you guys can type !donate in chat, we've got a little bit of time before we head into this map 5. We're being sure to shout out everybody who's donating here. It's a fantastic cause. That's what everything's going towards this preseason. Please check it out. The Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. It's a fantastic cause. If you guys have any time or any spare pocket change, throw it in. These teams are playing for it. You guys are watching for it. Please do your best to support them, but nothing left to do it. Top into map number 5. It'll be Lijiang Tower. I'm curious what we see on specifically Control Center, if I'm being completely honest. Do we get the Junkrat back from Dez? Do we get more Reapers locked in for these teams? We could go old school and run Pharah on Control Center, which would be a real mix-up, and surprisingly, we get it as our first sub-map.
We are getting Lijiang Control Center first, the very stereotypical brawl map here on Lijiang, but anything really can go. I've seen people run Pharah on this map. They've run really quirky dive-style Pharah maps that have worked. It's going to be interesting to see if they'll work here today. Now, of course, Koala Kings on the blue, Palm Beach Poggers on the red. One of these teams is going to go face off against the Season 5 champions, the Flashbacks, in the preseason finals for Harmony tier. Who is it going to be?
Well, looking at the compositions, we get pretty different stuff on either side. Symmetra Junkrat, I mean, it's a Control Center special at this point. There it is, like I mentioned, Dez locking it in, trying to get Lucio's and Baps up. They want Amplification Matrix, and they want to get to white as quickly as humanly possible. Kemi locking in a Roadhog, though. I'm really curious if this stays. No shot. Yeah, this unsurprising mix-up. Kemi goes back. Kemi's been playing out of their mind the entire night. It's a perfect mirror match for both sides. Who can get the damage out? That's all these compositions are meant to do.
They're meeting in the white room, where they usually meet here on the point, and that's a big hit. Sergeant Pepper already gets rid of a Symmetra of Turbo. That's a big hit in the that's a big wound coming from Palm Beach Poggers. Now they won't be able to have that huge damage output. Despite that, they are pushing back the Koala King, but not at the cost of their own life. You do see now Dez does get the kill onto Red Knight. That's one of the supports down on the side of the Koala Kings. Koala Kings might be able to get control of this point, but probably not for long, as picks are going in the favor of Palm Beach Poggers. Now all of a sudden, the Poggers have turned this around, and they're starting to get an advantage here in this fight. The point cap will go through on the side of Koala Kings, but the Palm Beach Poggers take the TP, and they're right there to meet them.
It's totally messy, but remember, both teams have the TP coming back in. Tepper builds up one of the quickest bombs I've seen in a hot minute. The tire comes out, catches Turbo, and without the Symmetra, the damage threat is severely mitigated, and I think Palm Beach Poggers know that they have to accept the L.
Yeah, Palm Beach Poggers now retreating, the last pit casualty being Dez in that, but now you just wasted that rip tire coming out from Sergeant Pepper. You have the tire coming out on the side of Palm Beach Poggers. It's going to be interesting to see here what they are able to accomplish. But we'll have to see as Palm Beach Poggers reconvene right outside of the main choke, and Koala Kings right on the other side of the door waiting to greet them and give them their free towels.
I mean, I spy a sound barrier coming up. Patty could get it just in time, but no, the M-Matrix is around, and things are getting bloody quickly. Exuberance is out of the way. No mortality field anymore means the Red Knight's down next. No chance of a sound barrier here for Koala Kings, and you have to feel like this is it for Palm Beach. They've got a fantastic push going.
Palm Beach Poggers have been able to eliminate both of the supports here on Koala Kings. They look like they're starting to push in now, and it looks like they're going to be able to flip this point. Only 58, 59, maybe 60% coming out here. The stall coming out from Navino on that Symmetra might be able to make it a little bit longer, and there's where it stops. 63% here for Koala Kings as Palm Beach Poggers take the point with a little bit of an alt bank of themselves. Koala Kings also have an alt bank that they're still in the building up.
Yeah, there's a full house brewing for both of these teams. With the Symmetra barriers being up, things get messy. We're going to see a lot of dancing. The one thing you want to see is teams stay in position. Dodge these Diva Bombs appropriately using the walls. Make sure all your players are dodging to the same side of the Symmetra wall.
We do see the Symmetra walls coming out from both sides. Navino and Turbo unleash the walls. The Shatter comes out from traffic. It gets nobody. Jetbot sends one as well. Doesn't get anybody yet now. Koala Kings, it's even on both sides. 2 bomb kills from 2 different teams. And it looks like you're going to be seeing Koala Kings with the advantage here. Navino is able to get traffic and also Turbo. And now Koala Kings with control over this point. They are going to barely be able to flip it. 45% on the side of Palm Beach Poggers. That is not a good kill, though. Sergeant Pepper dies right in the aftermath. This is the time for Palm Beach Poggers to push in right now.
They've got an opportunity, but they don't have much in the way of ultimates. Now, what I want to see from Koala Kings, they've done it before, they can do it again. Sound barrier engaged, there it is, right on time. Red Knight gets in, Reinhardt's charge on the ground, Navino's putting in tons of damage. Application Matrix there to exacerbate the problem for Palm Beach, who have been pushed to the back of the point. No more immortality field. It's all up to Dez with this tire. Mines into the back line, he's on the high ground, doesn't connect.
Here
Drop
comes
it,
the fire,
and just
Red
one.
Knight. That's a huge pick. Red Knight does fall, and Gaggles falls. That's no supports on the side of Koala Kings. And now Palm Beach Poggers looking to flip 95% for Koala Kings, and Palm Beach Poggers continue to count up theirs. It's going to be a really close match, and Palm Beach Poggers does have the ultimate advantage. A shatter and a beat online for them.
It's just enough. The sound barriers have been strong from Patty. They've been positioned well. But can they use it here? Koala Kings look for a re-engage, but there's no clear way, and they've got to find a methodical way to get past the Symmetra, past the Junkrat without giving away a pick.
You see them taking this white room approach. There are no ults on the side of Koala Kings. Jetbot is about to get that shatter, but the shatter
Good
coming
block.
out for traffic. It's only able to get Kemi, and the barrier comes out from Navino. Same goes for Turbo. The charge comes in from Jetbot. He wants that demon. He wants it now. The shatter comes out. He gets 4 on the ground, and Jetbot swinging away. Koala Kings finishing off the kills. And it looks like the control center may all be but locked up for them. Potty falls off the map. 97%. Nobody is going to be able to touch from Palm Beach Poggers as of now. And Koala Kings go 1 up. They're 1 step away from that reverse sweep.
And with Symmetra being as prominent as she is on these maps, we have to keep an eye on this. It was what I mentioned before, but the rotations around the barriers when they come up, they're coming up at the same time for both Symmetras, but consistently. Koala Kings have stuck together as a team. Same side of the barrier, working around the point together. Palm Beach are getting split up into little 3-man groups on either side, and they're being picked off in little 3-man groups by Koala Kings. And honestly, between both teams, I'm seeing even play across the field. That is the one difference there was on this point. Now we get different compositions, though. It's Koala Kings wanting to play point with Symmetra May, and Dez back on the far. He dominated on it on the first point of Oasis. It feels like forever ago that we got to see this man completely obliterate Koala Kings, but now a new composition, a new set of players. They're reinvigorated, and they have to hold against it.
Koala Kings taking this close approach. Now it's just going to be a poking game here for the Palm Beach Poggers. They're going to try to get that Pharah in there and be able to do as much damage as possible. It's going to depend all on this barrage, all on this Pharah play, if they're going to be able to win this battle right now. And that's not a good start. Traffic dies to Gag, and the Diva of Ricky also falls as well. And now Koala Kings looking strong here. They do not have their DPS pick, but that might not matter. They're going to be able to cap the first point as Turbo falls right trying to contest it. That's the first cap there for Koala Kings.
And, you know, we talk about the team that gets first tick having a 65% win rate on control points, but on this map, on Lijiang specifically, that bounces up to a whole 75%. On Garden, I feel like the stats even higher, but I don't have that one off the top of my head. It is ridiculously hard to retake this point. The stall potential is ridiculous. Koala Kings have set themselves up for success.
There's the amplification matrix coming out from Gag right now. It's able to separate all of Palm Beach Poggers, and Potty dies! What a huge pick coming out from Navino. Exuberance dies quick after. That's no support on the side of the Palm Beach Poggers. And though the kill on the Red Knight may be big, it's not enough to turn the battle. Palm Beach Poggers will have to reset. And with only 3 or 4 ults here on the board, it's going to be rough.
And one of those being Dez's Barrage, which has been consistently shut down by Kemi. I feel like you have to find the opportunity here to move in.
Oh,
Red Knight
no!
and Kemi off? This is a bit of a problem. There's no answer to this. A quick engage from Palm Beach could be it.
Red Knight tried to come back via the wall ride and ended up messing it up.
The block!
Comes in with the barrage and ends up getting blocked by Navito's barrier. What a huge play from Navito, but Chefbot falls in the end. Now Palm Beach Poggers starting to advance forward. They look like they'll be able to take this point as Dez kills himself with his own rocket, but not before taking the life of Gag. Potty falls, and now there's no support on the side of Palm Beach again. What a huge play from Koala Kings. They've consistently been eliminating these supports first every time. And now no supports on the board. It's only looking inevitable here for Koala Kings to hold, but Palm Beach Poggers still in it. Dez is there. He's trying to get any sort of damage he can onto Kemi on that Diva. Jeffbot and Gag are there being able to try and defend this point. Gag being sold out by Ricky, but the amplification matrix comes in. Ricky is able to kill Gag with the baby Diva, and he gets Kemi as well. Now, Koala Kings looking in a rough situation, 96% on the point, and there's the shatter from Traffic against 3. And just like that, now, after such a messy engage, a messy fight, Koala Kings won't be able to hold, and Palm Beach Poggers finally put the point.
Your heart's pounding. Comms are on fire right now for both these teams. I can't imagine anything but unintelligible screaming from either side. But Palm Beach Poggers now at 99%, their backs against the wall. It is win this point 100-0, or it is go home and not get a shot at that preseason grand finals. Can they do it?
Here comes Koala Kings. They teleport straight onto the point. The teleporter is there. The barrage comes out, and there goes Sergeant Pepper. Sergeant Pepper eliminated, and the res comes out immediately back on the Dez after Gag kills him. And now it looks like Koala Kings might have lost this fight here, but maybe not. They still have some defense on the point. Navino, Kemi, and Jeffbot are there, but 2 of them die, and all that's left is Kemi and the Lucio of Red Knight. They're going to retreat immediately, and Koala Kings now 50% here for Palm Beach Poggers. They still have 1 fight to try and win this, but it's looking rough.
Koala Kings are as cerebral as ever, staying calm, cool, and collected under the pressure. They know they don't necessarily have to win this map. They can play cool. They've got another one. They're so smooth going into this with a blizzard, and all they have to do is not get this eaten, and they've got a real great chance at taking this one back.
A push coming in from the White Room, and that's a big fire strike! Traffic gets 2 with the fire strike in the amplification matrix. Huge play by Exuberance, and now Palm Beach Poggers 1 more step away from taking this map and bringing us to a 3rd point in a 5-map series. What a way it would be to end. 75% for them. 1 fight territory as we finally see Navino switching off of that Symmetra and going over to the McCree to try and deal with this Pharah. It's just too much.
Look, there's a lot of ultimates up for either side here, and yes, there's ult planning. Yes, there's combos they can be going for, but let's be real with ourselves. The big thing in this fight is who's better under pressure. Who can keep it cool, calm, and collected?
Here comes the first move. The amplification
block
coming out from Glenn. Again, both shatters are blocked. The charge comes out and Traffic dies. Exuberance is dead again. Koala King trying to bring this back from the brink of existence. The barrage comes out, but it gets absolutely nothing. All of the Palm Beach Poggers are dead. Koala Kings sitting comfortable on this point, and the flashbacks better prepare. The Koala Kings are coming back for the crown.
And they've got a very empty head right now. Koala Kings, a full reverse sweep, can finally breathe a sigh of relief. It's been one of the longest nights we've had here in playoffs preseason. And it's unfortunately Palm Beach Poggers who we have to say goodbye to. They played out of their minds. They did everything they could. They nearly had the 99-0 retake. But alas, Koala Kings, through it all, have found their way through the mess that was that Gardens Point and found themselves a victory.
What an amazing match and really good performance from both teams. Palm Beach Poggers, you may have lost today, but that is just a sign of great things to come. It's an amazing season planned for you guys. And Koala Kings, they're heading off to go face off against the Flashbacks in the preseason finals, a rematch of the Season 5 preseason finals. Definitely going to be very interesting to see there, and hopefully one of those teams will come out as an amazing victor.
Yeah, there's more to give away tonight, though. I got to hand out an MVP, man, because it's not any one player. I have no clue who does it. I'm not in the comms. I don't know who's ult planning, who's fight tracking for this team, but they are doing a fantastic job. EMP Death Blossom, EMP bombs, bomb charges, bomb shatters, EMP shatters. We got everything you could have wanted out of every single composition that the Koala Kings ran, and it was to perfection after that halftime. So whoever's in-game leading for this team, that's my MVP.
Absolutely. Koala Kings, just an amazing level of coordination. This is a team made of a lot of new faces, not compared to the original roster, but they are still nailing it in terms of coordination. Everything is coordinated. Everything is set up perfectly. They got the EMPs off perfectly. They got the teleports off correctly. Everything looked in sync for Koala Kings, and it was such an amazing matchup. I had such an honor of casting this, especially with you.
Yeah, I know, my heart's pounding. There's like steam coming out of my ears right now. We got to cool off. We got to remind ourselves we're doing this for a good cause again. I'm going to shout it out again. I know, shield this, that, and the other. It's good for a good cause, guys. Rain, ! Donate in chat. I know there's a lot of you here. Some of you have got pocket change, and if you don't, that's totally okay. We'll see you again later. There's plenty more Overwatch to come. Let me check the schedule. I've got it down here. It's going to be Tuesday, finals for Harmony. Wednesday, Trans-Tier finals, and then Discord finals on Thursday for the preseason. And if they're anywhere near as good as this match, I promise you guys aren't going to want to miss them.
Absolutely. You do not want to miss a second of these preseason matches. They've been an absolute joy to watch. They've been an absolute joy for everybody involved, and it's really just been an amazing show. And again, you did talk about how we're doing it for a good cause. Again, reminder for everybody that we are still accepting donations to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. You can type ! Donate in the chat. We actually did get a donation here today during our stream. I missed it earlier. Beth ended up donating $20. Now our total is $380.20. So thank you, Beth, for your donation. Your money is going to a great cause. From the booth here, I've been HBL64. I've been your play-by-play caster. I've been joined by the amazing Door here on color casting, and we've been assisted by the amazing production of Worstcast. He did an amazing job yesterday, and he did an amazing job today. Give a round of applause for him. He did amazing.
That he did. Like he said, thank you so much from the production team here. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you next week.